Man, that's my dude. I rolls with him.
You heard what the man said. It's Flight Sports TV.
Flight Sports TV, that's where it's at.
Flight Sports TV.
What's going on, people? It's Flight Sports TV. I appreciate y'all for checking with me. You already know what it is. We back with another one of them things. We're going to be discussing a whole lot of LiAngelo Ball tonight. You already know what it is. This is a LiAngelo Ball live. You know, we got so much to discuss, so much, but so much has transpired, and we didn't really get an opportunity to touch on everything. Ladies and gentlemen, LiAngelo Ball is confirmed, you know, to be returning back to Greensboro. It seems to be he's all but confirmed. I'm expecting big things for LiAngelo in his second tenure, you know, with the Greensboro Swarm, you know, under Coach Camp, believe it or not. You know, we're going to get into some of the people that may be joining him down there in Greensboro. But what I want to let the people know, all LiAngelo Ball fans and all people who inquire to like LiAngelo and love him, you know, just know that LiAngelo Ball is a plan in place for him. As you can see, for whatever reason, it was a situation where people thought LiAngelo may have got left out in the cold. I don't know what stretch of imagination you thought that was going to be. But like I said, the Charlotte Hornets, there's a plan in place. When we see things going in disarray and, you know, we may not like the way things are going, you know, as you can see, one thing is consistent is LiAngelo Ball has a spot. You know, it seems to be a plan. You don't bring this guy along, you know, for the summer league, you know, again, you know, bring him along again for Greensboro. He was heavily, you know, promoted all over the Greensboro Swarm's Instagram, you know, not once, but twice, all in the same night. You know, they're featuring him all over the place. Not only is LiAngelo Ball good on the court, if given the right opportunity, but one thing's for sure and two things for certain. And I would like to get some reports on this. LiAngelo Ball is bringing increased revenue to Greensboro, ladies and gentlemen. Greensboro, North Carolina, you know, has seen an uptick in business because the triple Bs are down there. You understand? Nobody gave a damn about the Greensboro Swarm. Hell, nobody was even thinking about the G League. These people was able to run games on ESPN Plus, all kind of shit on the backs of LiAngelo Ball. Let's get shit straightened out here right now tonight. You know, it was a lot of business ventures and a lot of things capitalized on the back of Jello. So it's time for LiAngelo Ball to get that opportunity on the goddamn basketball floor. You know, I'm challenging the Charlotte Hornets organization, the Greensboro Swarm, the whole goddamn people running the goddamn situation in there. They need to get shit sorted out because it's time for Jello to get his opportunity, much deserving. And I'm talking about consistent opportunity, not just throw him out there for 30 minutes and then next time it's 3 or 4. We cannot have that. And I know one reason or two, I'm going to give a couple reasons why I don't see that. And we're going to get into that shortly. But before I do, I need everybody to hit that like button. And if you new, most definitely hit that subscribe button. You already know what it is. It's Flight Sports TV. Salute to everybody in the chat right now. I see everybody in the building. We got a star-studded panel. All access. What's the deal, Dex? Talk to the people. We live.
Yes, sir, Flight. Shout out to Flight Sports TV, the people's champ, the voice of the voiceless. Flight Sports TV is definitely a machine. Shout out to the panel. Shout out to the chat. Listen, congratulations to the chat yesterday. That chat was on fire from beginning to end. And listen, that chat rode the stream out all freaking night. minute for minute, tick for tick, hours for hour. I appreciate you, chat, and I appreciate everybody for coming in and lending a hand and engaging in sound topics and unsound topics. But whatever that chat embodies, it'd be great. And if I get a chance, I would love to peek at it. But sometimes I don't get a chance because I'm behind the scenes doing production and things of that nature for Flight Sports TV. But y'all keep on keeping on, man, and wear your crown and make sure those jewels are heavy in that crown. Yes, sir, Flight.
Absolutely. Today we are discussing a lot of LiAngelo. Salute to everybody that's been rolled into the chat. Shout out my man A1. Shout out Tumbling 45. Salute to all of y'all in the building. Like I was just stating before, when you're looking at these players, I'm expecting, a lot of players to be on this active roster. I don't know if you've been living under a rock or you got a hard case of amnesia, but the Charlotte Hornets is under slight turmoil, not necessarily about LaMelo Ball, and I'm not even gonna. When I mean slight, I mean opposed to the teams around them. When you're looking at the teams around you, they've improved, they've added. What have the Charlotte Hornets added? And before, and I'm not, and then putting an indictment on that. What I'm really going is there's going to be places for these people. I don't see Greensboro being as crowded as it was a season ago. I'm expecting guys to be planted. Where you seen Book Night just running back and forth like a bad child, from Greensboro back to the active roster. I don't see that happening anymore. I see this guy sitting, on the active roster, supplanted, getting that opportunity. They drafted him a number 11th overall. Now you got my man Mark Williams, who's just recently drafted. You just signed this guy McGowan's to a 2-way contract. And there's other pieces that's on this roster who could potentially, like the JT Thors of the world, who possibly could be seeing some stints in and out of Greensboro. That's where I see Jello getting an opportunity to get called up sooner than later. They called up a couple of people. People were getting call ups. Where I think LiAngelo just needs to get put in a situation where he could showcase his talent. And remember I told y'all this. When you see these people who you seen last year just back and forth, when they're supplanted on this active roster, just remember I told you Jello's gonna get consistent minutes. Jello's gonna get consistent opportunities. If we will not see what we've been witnessing, because it's been completely disgusting. We're gonna get into it. It's Flight Sports. A1, what's the deal?
What's up? What's up? Shout out to the panel. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Flight Sports TV.
Yeah, shout out to you, bro. We're in here cooking today. We're discussing LiAngelo. Tonight, we're going to give the people a full outline, on the ways LiAngelo could separate himself from the pack, because there will be some people there vying for the same opportunity he wants. So that's why I'm saying, how can Jello in his second tenure? That's, I think, and remember that second tenure is going to pay dividends, because he should have more experience. He should have more understanding on what's
Shout out to
going on.
Ball Facts in the building. Salute.
So salute to Ball Facts, the legend. I see you in the building. So Jello better get that call up. That's absolutely right. Tonight we're gonna discuss that. Leanne, if he don't get the call up, you understand, we know what's going on. But what we discussing right now is why is no reason why he should not be put in a position to get the call up. Like we don't want them giving Jello nothing. Jello gonna take his, but they just need to give him the opportunity to take it. You can't get no opportunity if you out there, 30 minutes, and then the next game you don't know when the hell you're getting out there. I mean, this shit cannot continue. And that's not beneficial to no player, not LiAngelo, anybody. This stop, start, or push. I mean, what the hell is going on? I mean, that's you setting him up for failure. It's no way to build a consistent rhythm, consistent balance with your teammates. All of these things have to be put in place for LiAngelo to get that call up. And I expect him, if there is a JT Thor out there on the floor with him, even as some of the guys we just seen in Summer League. He practiced with these people. You play games with these people. This is your second tenure with Greensboro. I'm expecting some continuity. All of these things I'm expecting that he did not have a season ago. That's why things will change. Remember, I told you this. It's crazy. I don't see why nobody can't see what I'm seeing right now. It's evident. It's evident. Remember, I told you this. We're gonna continue. A1, what's your thoughts on some of the things that we've been discussing so far?
I mean, politics aside, them giving guys like draft picks or guys they brung in on a two-way, there's certain reps, but put that to the side. He's put in his time, and really it's in Jello's hands. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has to battle through all the muck and the mire of being seen when you have these guys that's ahead of him because of some paperwork, right? I liken it to when you're in football camp. It starts off with 100 guys on the team, and literally after 2 weeks, 30 guys are cut. But you have one or two guys, free agents that just brung on, that puts in the work, shows the coaches that they can play. Right. And guess what? Those guys stay on. They maybe make the practice squad, right?
That's right.
But they earn their way. So that next year in camp, they're getting reps with the ones. They're getting reps with the twos. And that's how football works. That's why football is the best autocracy sport on earth, because if you're good, they don't give a fuck if you're getting paid $20 million. If this dude is better than you, he's going to take your spot. In basketball, it's not like that. It's more of a
You said what?
It's more of a good old boys club. That's what it looks like to me. You know what I'm saying? So, Jello just gonna have to battle through that muck.
Shout out to Zen Master.
He put in his work. He did that year. He went through that bullshit. So, hopefully this year they can look at him and give him his opportunity, man. Because after 20 games, he could be on a big club if they give him his opportunity.
Right, absolutely. Another thing that we can't underestimate in this situation is the dynamic that we just been witnessing. With the Triple Bs at the Drew League. This whole summer, is going to pay dividends headed into Greensboro. We are going to remember everything that this man did. From working with Bone Collector, from working with LaMelo Ball. Lord knows what he's doing with Lonzo. All the work that Lavar Ball is outlined for him, to do. Just the changes in his game, putting him in different situations. When you see LiAngelo Ball start excelling, when he gets these opportunities, this season, that he did not have. Do not be surprised if you see LiAngelo excelling in different facets of his game, that we more accustomed to seeing, where these games where he's putting up upwards of 20 points are more consistent, because he's getting the opportunity. He's gelling more with the teammates, because when the guy's in and out the lineup, you got an inconsistent rhythm with everybody. So you getting out there, they just looking at you like a one-trick pony. I think those days are going to be over with LiAngelo Ball, because I'm beyond 100 with you. They do utilize LiAngelo Ball mostly as a spot-up shooter. I think LiAngelo Ball needs to get a little bit more opportunities and responsibilities on this roster. And I'm not saying LiAngelo Ball come out here and be Chris Paul, but give LiAngelo Ball the opportunity with the basketball a lot more than he has. Just give him the goddamn ball. He has IQ. Just give him the basketball, and not so much always in the catch and shoot situation. Where okay, if he don't make this shot, his game is much more than that. That's where I'm headed with that situation. All access. What's the deal, man? What's your thoughts on some of these situations with LiAngelo? What's your outline for him? On how he could separate himself from the pack. What's your thoughts on this whole situation?
Well, the only way he's going to separate himself from the pack right now, because the summer league is over with, and they basically have Patton, who they might want to fill in that last two-way, which I think is still unfilled. But if he can grab that, that's $500,000 flat fee. It used to be based on how many games you played in the NBA, your two-way contract. Now, with the collective bargain, it's a flat fee. 500,000, little north of 500,000. So that's cool in itself. But I don't think that's the motivating factor for D'Angelo, the 500,000. I think the motivating factor for D'Angelo is to secure that two-way contract, to make sure now there's some form of commitment between him and the organization, and that will move him closer to a roster slot and eventually have a uniform with his number and his name on the back. So you will have two Ball members in the Charlotte Hornet uniform. And the only way that probably can be secured is maybe if you invited to training camp and play a little through that preseason. I don't know. That would be wonderful, right? But that's the only thing I can see him moving up in, because all of the basketball that they need to see of LiAngelo was basically played. Now it's about the training camp and how they feel about whatever aspect of basketball that's on the shelf right now, as far as visual.
Right. Visually, I see where you headed with this. What's your thoughts on his relationship with Coach Surinkamp? What's your analyzation of that, if any?
Well, from what I gather, I'm only going by what I see, because I have no other perspective. And from LiAngelo, he feels it's a good relationship. I think he feels Surinkamp has been straight up with him about what he wants to see from LiAngelo, and LiAngelo have echoed those sentiments in interviews.
Right.
He did a couple of interviews with the Charlotte Observer head editor guy, and most he talked about was his defense, and he expressed that they already familiar with what he can do offensively. What they want to see more from LiAngelo is defense, and LiAngelo is committed to playing defense. He has no ill will playing defense for the Greensboro Swarm or the Charlotte Hornets, period. He have stated that he will be delighted to add whatever they need, and hopefully he'll be that player that they choose to add those dimensions to the Charlotte Hornets as a team or the Greensboro Swarm as the affiliate. So whatever aspect of basketball he's going to play, G League or NBA, he is willing to be coach, and he is willing to be an extension of what the coach need out on the floor for how many ticks he get during any given game.
Right. That's what I think makes this whole situation so appealing, because, LiAngelo is truly going through all the channels. A lot of people might sit up here and say, it's looking like a handout. It's not nothing getting handed out here. LiAngelo is working for everything that this man, has gotten. That's
Flight, let me stop you there, Flight. Let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there. Because that is a problem among us. See, this is a problem. Listen, this is business and as well as entertainment, right? And for LiAngelo, this is business and as well as reaching a goal of his during his journey. And during your journey, you're going to get help, you're going to get assistance, you're going to get a push, and you're going to get some pushback. But it always seemed to be the pushback have to be the most aforementioned. And that's what I disagree on, because why do we have to be the ones that always struggle? Why do it always have to be our struggle to get us over? Even though I believe struggle is ordained. There's nothing wrong with struggling. I mean, we see struggle in our own beginning as far as becoming human beings, right? That's a struggle. Getting to that egg, you follow what I'm saying? And being in that gestation period for 3 different stages and becoming a born human, a born child. So that's a struggle in itself. So struggle is ordained. I'm not saying that. But After difficulty comes ease. So LiAngelo have went through a phase of difficulty, right? And if any ease come, that ease is just as ordained as the struggle is. So let's not only highlight the struggle. You follow what I'm saying? Let's also highlight the ease. So if he gets there by any other means than a vicious, long, pernicious struggle, let's celebrate that too. Because the goal is to get there. And like I said, in business, you want to be able to turn a profit, right? By all means legally and by all means morally. You follow what I'm saying? You want to stay within the rules, you want to stay within the regulation, and you want to stay within the law. But sometimes you catch a break. Just like going viral. Sometimes you can put some up there and all of a sudden you get 100,000 views. So should somebody be mad that you just clicked at that right time, that right moment, and you got a video that went viral, and now that can take you over the top for as a content creator? And it's the same for as in basketball. LiAngelo has his struggle. He has his pushback. You follow what I'm saying? He has his failure. He has his flaws. But if he gets to the Greensboro Swarm and somehow he secure a two-way, and even though LaMelo could be attached to that two-way, who cares? The main thing is to get there, young man. You follow what I'm saying? And this is why people say in business, rumble on, because you just don't know when you're going to get that knockout punch. And when you get that knockout punch, you can celebrate in victory. So it's not always going to be a slugfest. It's going to be some areas and aspects of that journey that's going to be a little easier than previous steps. So let's celebrate both sides. Let's celebrate the struggle and let's celebrate the victories. Now, if the victories come a little easier than some other victories, let's celebrate that as well. Because if you crack the code, damn it, you cracked the code.
Yeah, you're right about that, Dex. You was definitely cooking on that. But well, like I was saying, no matter what, you can't take away nothing from LiAngelo. But the fact that LiAngelo is truly going through, just all the steps, it don't seem like he skipped anything. He's literally taken every single step before the grand, finale, which we all know what that is. And that's what's going to make this whole situation the most beautiful. When we get to that finale. When LiAngelo get the opportunity to get consistent minutes, not minutes scattered all over the place, just consistently, and he go out there and punch his ticket. That's why I'm telling you, if he electrified Greensboro, I'm telling you, where he could be the face of Greensboro, I'm telling you, he could be the go-to scorer, believe it or not, in Greensboro. And another thing that people don't put out there, the style of play out there in the G League. It is very erratic. To me personally, they need to slow the hell down. It's like everybody's out to get theirs, and that's another thing about the G League. I think they need to slow things down, move the basketball, because if the point guard that he will be playing with, which is his brother, if he was called up, well, when he gets called up, this guy's a more free flowing basketball player. That basketball is moving around. Out there in Greensboro, the shit is sticking all over the place. So what happened?
Nah, so how they fix that, Dex, is they put an emphasis on winning. So when you have a winning
No,
organization,
that was me.
yeah. So when you have a winning organization, oh, sorry, Flight. When you have a winning organization, more people on the team get looks from everybody. All right, so you
Right.
got guys are losing, and one guy is going for 27. I mean, nobody's getting a look. But when you develop a winning atmosphere and you're winning, it's going to be 4, 5, 6 guys get looks, because teams want winners. Teams want
That is true.
people that win. You're going into the game like you want to win. Like, you get more opportunities. I say another example. My junior college year, football, we went 9-1. We had 22 dudes go D1. If we had to went 1-9, 2 dudes would have went D1. So it's all about winning, man. Period.
Yeah, winning does change everything.
And that slows the game down. More people get opportunities. You have guys in their role that can actually, NBA teams can see them in that role. This is what he does in that role. Like you said, he's erratic. Guys just going one-on-one, trying to trying to get an ooh and ah. That shit it's not winning. And teams want winning players.
Because they don't respect that organization, and they definitely don't respect that coach. And I'm quite sure you're talking about Greensboro, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they
I mean,
definitely not.
just the G League period. Those guys, you don't see winning basketball. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, I'm not really concerned about the G League. I'm concerned about the Greensboro Swarm because they have LiAngelo Ball. The other guys, how they do their thing, I can care less because I don't watch no G League. I only watch the Greensboro Swarm whenever I get the opportunity to. And once they stop acting like they don't want to play Jello, then I stop watching them. So my thing is this. They're not respecting the organization, first of all. I'm talking about the Charlotte Hornets organization. And then while they're all down there in the G League, I don't think they're taking it serious. Because I've seen some G League games where the Greensboro Swarm was in the thick of things, and it looks like they can, you know, win that game or stay competitive, and all of a sudden, vamoose. They start slipping, sliding, doing dumb stuff, laughing, giggling, not taking the game serious. And the coach seems to not have no type of bearing on these guys. And it seemed like these guys understand that, right? So you're not going to take me out the game. You know what I'm saying? Because Mitty said, I need to develop. I need minutes. So you're not going to take me out the game because now you're putting your job in danger because now you're not obeying what Mitty dictates and how his dictates are sent down to you and you're not following up because Sir and Camp don't really have no control over that right there. We done heard Mitty basically just squash him like a little ant. You follow what I'm saying? We tell him, that's how Mitty talks. We tell him who we want, what type of player we need pushed up, and then it's his job to get that player ready for us. That's how Mitty talks. Instead of Camp saying that, well, you know, my job is to make sure these guys are ready, they're soldiers, they're fit, you know what I'm saying, have their armor, and they're ready to go help the Charlotte Hornets in any capacity available. No, he don't even get the chance to say that. He just have to say, well, you know, whoever they choose that they want to work with, that's what I'm going to give my minutes to. So that's not even coaching. That's not even really coaching. That's being dictated to. So it's like Julius Caesar sitting on the throne all over again in the Hornets organization. And I mean Mitty. I ain't talking about Mike. I'm talking about Mitty. So if that can have some type of lessening, then I'm quite sure Sir Camp probably will put the best players out there to win games based on Greensboro Swarm record, not based on the Charlotte Hornet need. And that's where I think the conundrum is facing Greensboro and also LiAngelo Ball. Hopefully that LiAngelo in his second tenure with the Greensboro Swarm have moved up on the hierarchy where he is now considered a 2-year vet. And by considering himself a 2-year vet, he get more ticks on that parquet floor. Naturally, that's how the pecking order is supposed to be. But we're going to see, you know, how that's going to fly, because I don't even know if McGowan's going to be on their roster. I don't know if Mark Williams is going to be on their roster. You know, as far as being with them and traveling
they could be
with
in Greensboro. You mean they could be in Greensboro, Dex?
No, I'm saying on their roster, as far as the Charlotte Hornets.
Okay.
Yeah, helping LaMelo. You know what I'm saying? And traveling with the team, not just only hanging around the home games. You follow what I'm saying? Like they was doing with Book Night and all that dumb shit with Book Night. But he did travel some games. So I did see him in L.A. So, but you know, they was having him like a yo-yo, which was wrong. The man should have never been in Greensboro. Only be in Greensboro just to you know, get a little tighten up or whatever, but not the way that they was using him. But nevertheless,
not a number 11 pick.
Right. Of course not. You know what I mean? Top 15. It's lottery. I mean, you don't do people like that, man. And plus, Book Knight, even though his game wasn't always squared up, he was good enough to just be there as a practice player. You know what I mean? When the Hornets on the road and they want to get a practice in between games, he's there for that. What is he doing in Greensboro?
He just needed
That's
some development.
yeah. But not only all players need development, right? All players need development. You never can go throughout a career where you say I don't need no more development, because that's
Right.
when you die as an NBA player. You follow what I'm saying? Because you always want to stay ahead of the curve. You want to stay ahead of the game. So you always want to add something to your game. You always want to bring up some type of important statistic that you had one year. You want to bring it up a few notches the next year and things of that nature. So that's part of the development as well. Not to say that development means that you don't have nothing to offer in your bag. That's not what I'm speaking of. I'm speaking of development as far as adding to your bag. And anytime you add something, that's developing, right?
Right.
That's increasing. That's increasing. That's increasing, But the thing about it, Flight, to be honest with you, is that we already announced months ago that LiAngelo is locked into the Greensboro Swarm. So that needs to be also highlighted. This is not nothing new to us. We basically knew that he was on track to be on the Greensboro Swarm, and that was his low end, not his high end, his low end. So I want everybody to keep that in mind. We said his low end is Greensboro Swarm. His high end is to have a Hornets jersey with his name on the back of it. That's the high end. So right now, he's already fixed. Like your interest rate, you can have a fixed interest rate or you can have an adjustable. We already said LiAngelo was a fixed interest rate going into Greensboro Swarm for months. During the Drew League, we already said that's already locked in. Now we want him to take the next step, is to wear as garments of the Charlotte Hornets organization, a Charlotte Hornet uniform with Ball on the back. So when you look on that roster, you see two Ball brothers. The only thing difference is the number, right? LaMelo, LiAngelo, they both gonna have L Ball, L Ball. The only thing that's different will be the number when you look at that roster. That's what we want for LiAngelo. And then eventually they can get on the floor together. And when they get on the floor together, I'm telling you, it's going to be hard to separate it. Just like the time when we all was talking about once LaMelo get on that floor, it's going to be hard to take him off of it. And we was proven right, where everybody else was saying we was hyping LaMelo up. We was boosting him. He's really not that dude for real. Blah, blah this, blah, blah that. How you going to take over Devontae? How you going to take over Terry Rozier? Who's going to start over? Remember all those debates, discussions, and dialogues concerning LaMelo Ball in his rookie season. And we kept saying once he get on that parquet floor, you're not going to be able to pry him off of it, because that's his goal, to be a starter in the NBA. And he met that goal, became Rookie of the Year, and so on and so on and so on. And we all know the revisionist history.
Absolutely.
So we want that for LiAngelo. We want those same accolades for LiAngelo, even though he have to start in Greensboro, not overseas, not nowhere outside of the United States, not nowhere outside of North Carolina. He's there. All he has to do now is play his way in to a Charlotte Hornets uniform.
That's big facts. Right now, we're joined by legend, Ball Facts. What's the deal, Facts?
I'm cooling. What's up, Flight Dex? Everybody else on the panel was good.
Shit,
Yes,
I can't call it, man. What's your thoughts on this situation that we're cooking up with LiAngelo? I know you've been here since the start. What's some of your thoughts on the things we've been touching on?
No, that's why I called in, because I really was cooking up. Because to add on what y'all saying, I believe that the Swarm got it backwards. See, because they're supposed to be developing players, and they think they can just throw the guys that they want out there and let them do whatever they want to do to develop. But like my guy was just saying on here, I don't know his name, but no, you don't develop players by putting them out there and let them do what they want to do. You develop the right players by winning. So when you cater your
Yeah,
G League
A1.
team to winning, A1, yeah, thanks, to winning, then the players that are supposed to be developed will rise to the top. And if you play to win, there's no way you can't play LiAngelo, because in order to win, you're gonna need that. I was recently watching Rico Hines, Draymond Green. Draymond Green was talking about, he said, I don't have the best handles, I don't have the best shots, but I guarantee you no one's gonna work harder than me. No one's gonna want it more than me. And that's the kind of player that LiAngelo is. No one's gonna want it more than him. And we've seen that time and time again when he's on the court. And he's like that in scrimmages. He's like that. He just like that. When he's on the court, all his pops only taught him to play one way. He don't know how to play lazy. That's like LaMelo at the end of the game. Everybody else jogging like it's only 5 seconds left. LaMelo, to the end at the playing game, he's like, let me go get one more layup. That's what it is. So if they really cater the Greensboro Swarm to winning, they're going to have to insert LiAngelo in that starting lineup just on his work ethic alone. Now, when you start running plays for him because you see he's got the high hand, when you're playing the guy 35 minutes, then you can't hide him anymore. Because, they started him before, but they weren't passing to him like that. They weren't running plays to him like that. He up and down the court 4 or 5 times, the first one back, and ain't touched the ball in 5 possessions. And if you focused on winning, it ain't gonna work like that. You focus on winning, Jello's gonna be incorporated, and then you can't hide him. It won't be no diamond in the rough. The diamond to be shining bright. So, and then when that happens, then we'll get to see, instead of all these Greensboro Swarm players sitting on the bench looking like, what I'm saying, like they're bored, ready to, get out of class for the bell to ring. No, you bring them up and they won't be on the bench because now they've been battle tested in the G League playing to win. And now when you insert them into the game, they're not trying to, come in there, like maybe a Kai Jones might come in and shoot a 3. No, you're going to get in there and do what it takes to win. And so you're not worried about all that extra. So I agree with A1. They got to play to win. And when they play to win, Jello will definitely be inserted. Now, this is Jello's second year, and I don't know. I would like to say Jello definitely going to get his minutes, all that. But I've been scarred by the previous season after I've seen Jello do tremendous. And then the next game, be belittled. And they would say, no, he wasn't belittled. Well, to me, that's what I call it. If you sit him on the bench or you don't play him at all, any of that. So, I want to have high hopes for this Jello thing, but I've been scarred by what I've seen previously. So I'm hoping that things can change. But, we never know.
No, you're absolutely right about that. You never know with this situation that's going on. Dex, you wanted to touch on that? I was going to get to something else.
Yeah. I just feel that by Jello being second tenure in the Greensboro Swarm, because remember ball facts last season, the Greensboro Swarm lost 2 players to the Portland Trailblazers. And that was Scotty Lewis and I believe Cameron McGriff. Those guys went up there and stunk it up so bad, they sent them back to Greensboro and told Greensboro to keep the money. Because like A1 said, those 2 dudes, yeah, they was looking like they was doing good in a shamble offense. But once they got up there with the Portland Trailblazers and was under a structural offense and defense, they looked out of place. They looked like a snowman in the middle of the Mojave Desert. And so this is why I believe it's important. I don't know what's up with Cameron McGriff. It looks like he's in the doghouse, and Scotty Lewis is injured. So I just believe that LiAngelo will be able to have those minutes that those guys will garner, and he don't have to compete with Manic because Manic is gone somewhere. Alabuka, he's not even nowhere in the country, so he's cool where he's at. He got a real good influx contract over there, I believe in Greece. So that shooter aspect is just begging for the taking, and I just believe LiAngelo realized that there's nobody there to compete with him on that level. Just on that level. Now, anything else as far as improvement on his defense, then that remains to be seen. But in that level right there, to spread that floor ball fact, who's there to compete with him? A1?
No, I agree.
Uh,
Everything you're saying makes sense. Go ahead, A1.
yeah. Now go ahead, Ballfax. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, and like I asked Jello, like, what is the coaches telling you, and how's it looking from everything that he's doing? I mean, they tell him good things, and you've seen it in the interviews yourself. They'll say Jello is the this, Jello is the that. So it feels like his time is coming based on everything that's being told to him, and then the situation with the team. I'm sitting up here already creating thumbnails, already making titles for videos about Jello now being inserted in the starting lineup. So I'm with you with the hoping and the betting on this to be, a real breakout season for Jello on the Swarm. But I ain't gonna put all the money I have on it, because so many games I tuned in like, oh shoot, Jello finna go off. He on the bench the whole time, and I'm sitting there watching him doing nothing. You know what I mean? But like, I believe, like, I'm more so feeling like he will play, but there's a part of me just like, man, I don't know. It seems like this organization has lied and surprised us too many times, honestly.
Now, Ballfax, you're not trying to build up the
Ballfax,
suspicion. Hold on one second, A1. I got to call Ballfax on this. Ballfax, you're not trying to build up suspense because that is a lot of content to be getting out there, because you say you already trying to put up the thumbnails and getting the information together and things of that nature. You ahead of the curve, right? Because you talking to them, you amongst them, so you hear the murmurs, the whispers, and some of it is direct conversation to you. So you're not building up suspense, Ballfax, for this, because it would seem like you would be already garnered to be like, yeah, Jello, he finna do his thing and blah blah this and blah blah that. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna be honest with you. From everything that I've heard and spoke about and been amongst, that's why I made the thumbnails, because I'm privy to certain things that really make me believe, like, okay, these people have no idea what's about to happen with Jello. He's on the cusp of just blowing all these people's minds. That's how I feel. So when I get back to the lab, I'm in the studio making thumbnails and titles and getting ready. So when everything drop, you know what I mean? Of course, you're gonna have people say, oh, he copied us. No, I'm already in the wings and waiting, but I always wait for it to become a fact. So since it's not a fact, I can't stand on it, Dex. You know what I mean? But, they have great things to say to LiAngelo, and things are looking up. And so I would go on a limb and get on and break the news on my channel and be like, LiAngelo will be this, and they gonna play him this many minutes, and he gonna be the man at the Swarm and blah blah blah. I don't know that for sure. You know what I'm saying? I know certain pieces that make me believe certain things, but what I've seen and what I've witnessed in the past, as far as this content game and dropping videos, is I really I wait till I get certain confirmation. You know what I mean? So even though I do have good news inside and in the chamber and locked away for when these videos do drop, I have to wait until it's sealed. The deal is sealed. I don't want to jump the gun, because it may not come to fruition. I'll be making a whole nother video, but it does look good for Jello, on the Swarm. But how many times has it looked good for Jello? Like that first game, I went to the first game. I was courtside.
Right, yeah, you was there.
Jello
Yeah,
with
We seen you.
You know what I mean?
But listen, Ballfax, right? That's cool. But listen, when you looked at Jello, when you talked to Jello, did he feel hungry? Did he feel confident? Did he feel healthy?
Listen, dude, this dude is working out multiple times per day. This dude is strength training something ridiculous. This dude is benching ridiculous. The workouts, I'm looking at the private workouts that he's doing in the gym, and people are and like, he has very few days off. Some of these Drew League games, they like, Jello looks tired. I'm like, wow, you did this the day before? Are you kidding me? Because the Drew League is exhibition. Yes, you want to get ready and stuff like that, but Jello's getting ready for professional basketball. The dude did, and his mental fortitude is crazy. This is what you got to understand. Like, Lavar has not said, I got too rich and I'm not going to work with my son. Lavar is still in the gym with him. Yes, other people may come, like you guys, you had the Bone Collector on the show, and other people are in the gym, stuff like that. But Lavar is there. So when you got your dad there who believes in you more than anything, who's raised you, you seen him get your other two brothers there. You took a slight detour, so now yours is different, but
That's
you
right.
still got
That's
that
right.
same guy in your corner telling you, you the man, you the best, you work the hardest, you to this, you to that. Like there's no amount of hate
You the
that these
best.
random people in comments or content creators or just casuals to tell Jello to get him off his square, because in his corner is so solidified and so supported. And it's not just the support by word of mouth. His dad is there with him and bringing in the right people and getting him trained up right. Like he's mentally right. He's physically right. You know what I mean? Like he's in there.
So you don't see no sign of fatigue, like mental fatigue, since he's been playing like a lot of basketball this summer?
I'm not gonna lie to you. Jello is more confident than I understood. Honestly, he's more confident than I understood. He's telling me about, the swarm scrimmages and telling me about what he does and how it is and what it's like for him. And I'm like, whoa. Telling me about how it was when he went to the Hornets with Melo for the first time to get in those scrimmages. I'm like, whoa. Like Jello was so confident, you might not even believe it.
Wow.
No, I believe it. No,
Yeah,
I definitely believe it, because you could tell that he just loved to hoop. He put in his, I think it's his Twitter, that I just want to hoop. What did you get from that? Because I know you talked to him, and he was explaining to you that he was dunking since he was 13, and it looks like a real jovial conversation that he was talking to you about. When you spoke with him during that moment, did you feel joy coming from him from playing basketball?
That was the smallest moment that y'all seen. And we have been together, was it 4 days? The dude is happy. That's the thing. It's like, that's what the amazing thing too. He's got money. He's got access to any woman he wants practically. He's got everything that he wants, but he still has a hunger for basketball. He's still happy. He don't hate, don't penetrate their circle. I mean, it just imagine you watching Lavar's interviews, right? And somebody tries to cut in and say something. Lavar don't let him say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Almost like a coffee. You know what I mean? Whereas like you can't get in there. So like I said, that mental fortitude, he's sitting up there happy. He's got all no reason to doubt. If like you just live on the internet and you'll look and see certain videos and see certain titles and things like that, you would think that maybe LiAngelo is thinking about giving up or is doubting.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, he don't have one shred of that, not one shred. And I was happy to see that. You know what I mean? Because this is the real test if you're biased. You watch the videos before a content creator meets somebody and then watch the videos after. None of my videos have changed, right? So I've always believed. And sometimes, so then when I meet the person, I'm like, wow, I'm relieved. I'm relieved that it is what I said. It is what I've seen from a distance. Now I'm up close and I'm like, damn, I feel even more confident to drop LiAngelo content.
Right.
Right.
Hold on. Before you continue, I want to tell you, Ball Facts. I want to congratulate you on everything that you're doing, man. I love to see you winning. When I seen those images, man, I felt like I was there with you, man. Just to see you, being like almost like a big brother for me over here. A lot of tutelage that you do with me, man. I want to tell you, man, I appreciate you, and like I said, to see you and what you did, with the gala. I just want to congratulate you, and I want to let everybody know we got to get behind people like Ball Facts, man. True trailblazers in the community. I'm telling you, keep paving the way for people like myself and the new people that's coming on to YouTube.
Hey, I thank you for that. Appreciate that, Flight.
That's facts.
You know what it is? It's like-minded people that come together. It's like when I first seen your channel and I seen how hard you was going for Lonzo Ball in the midst of the drought. He was like, no, I rock with Lonzo. He's this type of player and I like him. And I said, wow, it's easy to root for him when he's got 5 games in a row shooting 40% on the Pelicans. But what happens when his knee gets out and he mess up a couple games? I went to your channel. You was spitting the same thing that you had been spitting before. And I said, oh, yeah, I'm going to get along with this guy. Great. And to this day, we still do.
Yeah, it's facts. I appreciate that. And like I said, Lonzo, man, I love Lonzo Ball. Like I said, his game with my heart. I'm telling you, when his games come on, it's like a celebration. Hype videos. I still get goosebumps. All of that shit, man. This shit is real. This is no politicking. I really love this whole situation. It's fine. People know what it is with Lonzo. I cannot wait until he gets back ready. What's your we're gonna get back to LiAngelo just briefly. Like I said, I know you can't really say anything, but what's the positivity with Lonzo Ball? Is it any how's his spirits?
It's something that I've always done. I kept integrity. So if somebody says something to me and tell me not, but this ain't for the cameras, this ain't for the show, then I keep that. So,
Right.
But this is the one thing I can say about Lonzo that felt good. He felt very much family orientated, and he felt focused. He felt laser focused. We chopped it up a little bit about some stuff and all that, but Lonzo's thing is everybody's going to find out exactly about Lonzo when he goes to the Bulls medical staff and they clear him. You know what I'm saying? He's got his own staff right now. They're working with him, but ultimately it's up to the Bulls staff. So I'm going to leave that where that is because that's actually what it is. But he felt laser focused. He felt confident to me. And we mostly just talked about life stuff. We didn't talk a whole bunch about hooping. Sometimes you got to read the room and know when to, go into that type of stuff.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you said it just enough. Right there, man.
Right.
Like I said, his spirits is very high. That's all we really want to know. Back to LiAngelo Ball facts. You touched on Lavar Ball and everything that he's doing. Speaking on that, he didn't have an epic summer. We all know he didn't have an epic lifetime with LiAngelo, but just monitoring this off season, it's just been one for the ages. How can this situation that he's gone through with Lavar this summer impact his second stint with the Greensboro Swarm?
I think it's gonna help LiAngelo immensely. Him being out there with his dad in training 3 times a day, 2 times a day, the stuff that he's doing, the Drew League, everything. Even taking a stint as a point guard, even though he's not a point guard. I mean, putting LiAngelo in all these situations to prepare him to go back to Greensboro and be really locked in mentally, to be prepared for what comes, to be the confidence, the fortitude. And their practices will never be as hard as what Lavar has put him through. So it's like he's been, training with a weighted outfit. And then when you go to Greensboro, they take it off you. They take the weighted gloves off you. And so I expect to see LiAngelo come out like, an uncaged animal because he's been in the trenches. Lavar is on a different level with the training. Some of the stuff he told me, I'm like, I ain't even never think about doing stuff like that. But he's watching his son since he known him since they grew up, how to get them ready, not just physically, but mentally, and how they all sometimes take different steps and different things that they might need to be ready to go. So when Jolo goes back out there, I'm saying this dude gonna be ready. If the Greensboro Swarm do the right thing, he's gonna be a problem.
I totally agree with that. How do you think he's going to continue to just be a spot-up shooter? Obviously, that's what he excels at. What about getting the ball in different situations, showing, that he's much more than just a guy you just dump it off to in the corner?
He got to be more. I seen like the behind the scenes footage of him working on his jump hook. Remember that 53-point game where he kept going down there? That one hook off the glass, straight in.
That's right.
I mean, he's getting that thing to a T. It would be a shame if they don't let him post these dudes up. Especially, we've seen on the Greensboro Swarm, I've watched tons of this footage, putting these pieces together. And LiAngelo, I have a guy who's 6'3" under the basket at times. And you don't give it to him? No. And see, that's what I hope changes because he's more than just a spot-up shooter.
But ball facts, that's where winning basketball comes in hand, right? That's where if they're playing the right way, if they're cutting and they're hitting the right guys on the cuts, if they're making an extra pass, because that's the way LiAngelo plays. He cuts behind what he's supposed to do. He makes the extra pass. He does what he's supposed to do. But when you got guys playing losing basketball, that's what happens. So
Exactly.
it's
A1, you
just
speaking facts.
if they winning, if they're all winning, guys are in their proper position. They're doing the right things. I liken it to a minor league baseball system or the practice squad on an NFL team. It's only 6 guys that make a practice squad. But guess what? We have to fucking go in there and play practice like we're starters. You know what I'm saying? The same system, running the route tree, our route tree, knowing the playbook. You dig what I'm saying? It's not like
Yeah.
that in that league. It's every man for themselves, and it's sloppy basketball. And Jello's playing the right way. So I see the frustration on his face when he's sitting down. Like, these dudes, they are, to him, I know that's horrible basketball. When he talks to his brothers, I'm like, bro, what are they doing out there? I know it because they're
Yeah,
high
LaMelo
IQ
show can
players.
relate.
So it's just about being around guys that want to win. And if they go out there and try and win every game, the guys will be in their right position. And that's when he'll excel because it's the right basketball.
I agree. And you got to remember, what does LeVar always taught them? The number one stat that matters. Because people out here get caught up on,
Winning.
Maybe LiAngelo shoots 40% this game, this other game he shoots 30%. They get caught up on percentages. Only thing that LeVar taught them is number one priority is winning. They weren't even taught to think about that type of stuff, to just think about winning, winning, winning. And when you saw Chino Hills and they would win, that's why it wasn't too much talked about shooting percentages when you're going freaking 30-0, because you're trained to win. All that other stuff comes secondhand.
Right, and plus that's individual stats and all that stuff. And like you said, the main thing is to get that
Yes,
dub
sir.
and get them dubs consecutively. You follow what I'm saying? And and go on a run. But what I got out of it, ball facts, and I was hoping that you pointed this out, just whether in conversation or just observation, was that Drew League experiment or display or whatever you want to call it. A lot of people say it was some bad basketball. Yeah, okay, we can agree. Even this camp agree that was some hard to watch basketball. But what I got out of it is that LeVar was, I'm not saying it's a mean thing and I'm not saying it's a great thing, but he was focused on his son, making sure his mental capacity will be adjusted properly to be in a highly intense environment when he gets to the Charlotte Hornets. See, he's not even thinking about this Greensboro Swarm thing. That's just a passing phase. He want to make sure LiAngelo is laser focused, just like Lonzo and LaMelo. When you get into those highly contested games in that Charlotte Hornet uniform, you will be mentally fortitude. And your focus will be laser on getting the job done that the coach have spun you to do. So when he never got to call a timeout, when he was just constantly running, just go, shoot the ball, Jello, shoot the ball. Don't worry about it. Shoot it tired. Let's go. Come on, get over here, get over there. You understand what I'm saying? He's helping his mental to think quick, fast,
Dex,
right down to the modern day time.
Dex, you are so right. And this is why a lot of people, they don't get this, especially if you're on the outside, you don't get this. LeVar working that boy like a dog. And it's on purpose. Where if you soft, get out the room. You're going to have to work and you're going to be tired, so dead tired, legs tired, arms tired. You're going to run a mile. And then tomorrow you're going to go to the Drew League and then you're going to play the point. I mean, when you're about to throw your son amongst wolves, do you let him play with puppies to practice? No. You at least put him in with German Shepherds, something. He's being fortified. He's being trained up to the point where when they send him to Greensboro, now all of a sudden you get to your muscles get to relax. Your running is nothing back and forth. You're stronger. You took the mental bullets to the brain all in practice, and now you at the team, and it's looking like it's a freaking wonderland. You at Disneyland, and you can go. This is the stuff that
Exactly.
I said, wow, this is the stuff that people won't get. This is stuff that even I didn't even understand on this level of what he's done. But I said, wow, there's only one guy in this whole world who had two sons go that high in the draft, of course he would have to have something going on that people don't understand.
Exactly. And that was something
Guys,
that
I
I was
live in the world
parading.
as a trainer. I live in
Right.
the world as a trainer, as a performance trainer.
Yes, you do.
So what
Shout out
Lavar,
A1. I am fifth.
what Lavar Ball is doing, I haven't sat in on a training session, but I know just from me being in the business for a minute, I know what he's doing. All right, he's unorthodox. He trained those guys hard. I could see the way, their lower extremities are very, very strong, even though they're kind of thin on the bottom. And that's where, when I listened to, it's frustrating when Lonzo went to the Lakers and was getting injured, when they put him on those band workouts, that's what happens. The smaller muscles got weaker and his big muscles took over. And that's why those little injuries happen. And that's where his dad's frustrated, because those all things are preventable, right? So I could just imagine, I would love to sit in on one of his sessions, man. That would be super dope, because I know he's unorthodox. He does things. He may see something somebody does and look at it totally different. And I love trainers like that, man, because they're rare and they're few. They're few. And that's why he stands out. And that's why he's made the money he's making as a fucking trainer. Guys don't realize that in the game of training. All right. To be $100,000 trainer, you have to have hella skill. He's above that. So I could just imagine what techniques and the skill he has, man. I just imagine. I would love that. That tells me everything. To have these two sons go in the top 5 in the NBA, that's training since they were 5. That's him. So that's just super dope, man. Coming from a trainer, I respect that shit to the utmost.
And you know what's crazy is Jello's like ready to get back in the gym. After everything I said, you might think he'd be like, damn, can I get a day off? No, Jello's like, let's get back in the gym. He's
That's
hungry
residual
for it.
built up, bro. That's so much residual. That's so many reps. When you talk about confidence, ball facts, you know where confidence come from? Reps.
And to go back to that training,
he's putting in so many reps that he's confident. I shoot it from anywhere on anybody at any time. That's reps.
and also A1, to go back to that training that you was talking about, to be real with you, it's almost like if LiAngelo has been training to be a Navy SEAL, or a devil dog, because that type of intense training mentally, that's what turns you into a killer. And I'm talking about a killer on the basketball court.
But
You feel me?
let me tell you, as a trainer, as a performance trainer, 50% of the time we're trying to get you faster, bigger, stronger, more explosive. But the other 50% of the time we're training your mind to be stronger.
Yes. Yeah, he's going to be like a Navy SEALs of basketball watch. This dude going to be an Army Ranger. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be a devil dog. Listen, Jello is going to be so, what I'm going to call it, spherical. He's going to be so spherical that he's going to have his game going to be so well-rounded, right? And what Lavar is doing now, a lot of people was trying to criticize him about, but they don't see the end game. And the end game is to make sure that he is mentally prepared for any situation that's given to him at any given time, and he's able to have the stamina to execute whatever needs to be executed at any given time. Trust me, you guys going to see this.
When Ball Facts said he's working out multiple times a day, all right, that's called, in the athletic world, that's called the Kobe math, all right? So Kobe's math is, you work out once a day, I work out 3. All right, the next day, I'm up 6 to your 2. The next day, I'm up 9 to your 3. The next day, I'm up 12 to your 4. So after a year, I passed you. After 3 years, you'd never catch up. So when he's saying that, those repetitions, those twice a day, he's probably getting up 500, 1,000 makes, 2,000 a day, 4,000 in 2 days, 6,000. Who's doing that? He's catching up. And that's
Right.
the work ethic, man. That's what it takes to be a 1%er.
I agree.
In that world.
I agree. It's always that one more, right? One more pull up, one more push up, one more chin up, one more leg press, one more bench press, one more back arms. You know what I'm saying? A1 and
Yep.
ball facts is
Yep.
always that one more. If you
Yep.
can give me that one more, then
That
that
adds
shows
up.
me that it exactly adds up and that's take you over the top because you can always have an edge over your competitor because you're willing to
Exactly.
go that extra mile.
Because it's mental, man.
LeVar
It's
was
mental.
telling me,
What changed MJ? Now, I mean, just we was talking about LiAngelo still, but it's the same way. What changed MJ? When he went to
Oh,
that trainer and said, "Bro, I got to get fucking stronger."
well, what'd you say, LeVar said?
LeVar was telling me Jello got to make this many shots this way in this many minutes. I'm like, that sound a little bit unbelievable, right?
There you
So then
go.
I'm like, okay, let me ask LiAngelo by itself, like what kind of training they do and kind of just hint, do you got to do how many shots and how many minutes? LiAngelo confirmed it. And when I tell you some of these numbers, it don't even sound real. You're like, what? And they say, you know what? Oh, Jello, he'll just chuck up shots. When this dude is on fresh legs and a 2-day rest, and you pass him the ball, he is about to cash and splash shots. I'm telling you, because like you guys said, it's the reps,
Muscle
it's the
memory.
confidence. When
Yep.
all you're doing in the gym is taking shots, and you hear your dad in your ear telling you, "You the best at this. You got this. Nobody could do it like you." And you not only hearing it, you putting the work in. The day that they pair this dude with either of his brothers, I'm telling you, it's gonna be a reckoning day
And not only
on
that, ball facts, but
ESPN
he's seeing
everywhere.
it.
You know that.
He's
Fact.
seeing it. He been in the gym with them, like you said, the scrimmages. He killed them. He made the squad off of the scrimmages. So that's more of the frustration
Good take,
that he's
A1.
feeling that he takes to the gym and putting up extra shots because, bro, I'm better than this dude. Bro, I'm better than this dude. I know what he's feeling because trust, I've been there. Ain't no way this dude right here is $15 million better than me. I'm killing him. Like
Real
I've
rap.
been there. Trust.
You
And
heard
it
what Cliffy
gets,
said, right? You heard what Cliffy said.
man.
When he was living. No, I mean not Cliffy, not Cliffy. It was is it McMahon from the Charlotte Observer? Well, whatever. It was after Cliffy fired, and LaMelo got up to the Greensboro Swarm, and he said he used to hear the ball. He lived there like down the street. I mean, like across the street from the gym, and he said he used to hear the ball bouncing every night, and then he used to go over there. Guess who was in the gym? LaMelo and LiAngelo. Not the $120 million man. Not Terry Rozier, his little partner. Not Miles Bridges, his other partner. He
Yep.
said it was LiAngelo. It was LiAngelo and LaMelo bouncing the ball in the gym all times of night. Gym rats.
Yep.
You right. Yo, we got my man Nico Savage in the building. We got KNT Radio. We got Purple Baby. We're in here cooking on a lot of LiAngelo Ball. You see who we got in the building. We got the legendary Ball Facts in the building. What's the deal? It's Flight Sports TV.
Yo, shout out to everyone on the panel. And I just love what they say, the reps. Like the everyday, that's what it takes to be a 1%er. Just look at who's all on the panel. Dex been on the panel. He's doing this every day. Flight Sports every day. Ball Facts, you can check his channel every day. He got content. Like my man A1, he been in the league, so he knows what it is. Like Nico been around for a minute. I don't like even me. Like I'm always doing this every day. So with that being said, like it.
Yo, KNT, stop trying to downplay yourself. You the CEO. You stop.
I really did it. Like yo, because I ain't gonna lie. Like yo,
pull out your resume. Don't make me pull out your resume.
My resume is kind of sturdy, but it's like from being, I'm not where I want to be at yet. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want that to be the end. You start bragging about where you at and stuff like that, that'd be your end to keep going. I'm loving this. I'm loving the ride. Like I'm about to work with Donnell Jones next Saturday.
That's shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Donnell Jones. Shout out. I'll be with RL too.
Okay.
Nice. Real
Yeah.
nice.
So what's your thoughts on this G3 situation?
Oh yeah, we're every day. He's born for this. He's born for this, man. Like he's every day. Like you going back. Like he's one of them players you might have to take his key because he'll be at the gym 2 a.m. running your electric up. He gonna run your whole gym electric up. He gonna be in there every day. And like what A1 said, he had to be doing them dudes dirty for them to pick up a Randy off the scrimmage team. If he had to be doing the NBA team pretty bad for them to pick him up off the scrimmage team and actually put him on their on their actual G League team.
Hey, KNT. This is the thing that got Jello into the summer league. I'm gonna say one big aspect. He was on the court with his brother. LaMelo was passing to him. See, that's the problem with some of these swarm games and these other teams, summer league stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
You could give it to Jello. What happened when Jello played the point guard in the Drew? He didn't do so well. Give it to him and bringing the ball up the court and over here. If I pass anybody the ball where it's not their spot, not their expertise, tell them to play in another position than they're accustomed to. Give Shaquille O'Neal the ball at the 3-point line. You know what I'm saying? Tell Draymond Green to start shooting these jump shots. It ain't gonna work like that.
Out of their zone.
Out of their zone. But when LaMelo went in there to those scrimmages with the Hornets, when LiAngelo went there, his brother was with him. And they started out on the same team. And LaMelo was hitting Jello in all of his spots.
Facts.
Jello only needed to take 3 dribbles. LaMelo already dribbled the ball this way to shift the defense this way. Boom, give Jello the one-on-ones that he needed, right where he wanted, on the low block, at the 3-point. This is what the swarm coach needs to make happen. What we talked about with the winning. You don't just give it to Jello in this little couple plays y'all run for him where it's a contested shot and they see it coming every time. Are y'all gonna pass it to him on the cut? Are y'all going to give him some ISOs on the low block? Put him in position to score, and that's what anybody. We seen Carmelo Anthony. He has a spot. That's where you give it to him. Kobe. Everybody liked certain spots on the floor, and that's where they would start their methodical, legendary plays from. And that's what I want to see with the Swarm this year, this season, and I'm looking forward to. And I'm hoping that they get a clue. The coaching staff gets a clue. The players gets a clue. If the coaching staff treats Jello like a stud, the players will too. If you only getting played 3 and 5 minutes at a time, why would the players pass to you? You're not a priority to the staff. So it's not even intentional. It's just the way it goes. If you're on a team, if the coach is saying this guy's the guy, this guy's the guy, when you see him on the court, all of a sudden you just end up passing to him. That's how it goes. So hopefully the coaching staff this second year sees Jello as, more of a priority. We can see some minutes, we can see some starts, and we can see Jello get the ball in his spots, not just pass it to him randomly.
Yep. And the thing is, you showcase your players by what? Winning.
Yep.
That's how you showcase your players. Everybody gets a look. Oh, there's a 6 man. He's averaging 13 a game. Everybody's getting the right look because you put your players out there by winning, man.
Yeah, that's real.
I say something about that play style. For me, what I noticed is, the consensus, from a casual might be that. Yeah. Hey, salute to y'all, man. Appreciate y'all having me.
That's my guy right here, Nico. I missed you, bro.
Nico Savage.
I'm gonna be back tomorrow with something on my own channel, but I just wanted to say this real quick when it comes to just the consensus of what people will think. They think the Ball brothers will play buddy ball, and they don't quite understand that these guys are on a whole different understanding of the game of basketball.
That's a great take. I look at it like that because I don't like when I used to model deal.
Let them finish.
Oh no, I was just gonna say when they're playing the game of basketball, LaMelo's not just looking for Jello because he's looking for his brother. He looked for Jello because Jello is always going to be in the right spot at the right time. Their brain works like clockwork on basketball. It's as easy as breathing goddamn air for them. They just know. I'm going to be honest. Bello is dumbing himself down to play point guard for the Charlotte Hornets. He already know where people should be. He know what spots they the best at. He know exactly how to win basketball games, and he has to play within a system that's beneath his actual understanding of basketball. And same with Jello. Jello knows he can do more than what the Swarm are allowing him to do and what his point guards are put him in a position to do.
Good take.
They're playing let's just say they're playing a role right now. That's why it's very important when Ball Facts talks about, and we all talk about, they need to play together. Because once you put that level of synergy together, the team that's going to win a championship every year is the guys that are playing on a cohesive unit. That's what I've noticed.
Right. I want to speak what Ball Facts said real quick, and I'll let y'all slide. Right. What Ball Facts was speaking on, how they got to use them right. but it's kind of hard when you're trying to get your shot too. Like that's the only thing about the G League that I really don't like. It's never really good basketball because everybody's trying to
I
make the
spoke on that.
so they're being self ball. Because if I give Jello the ball, he's already the most marketable. He can't be the best player on our team too. They're going to pick him up. That's one exhibit 10 or 10-day contract less. What you think?
But KNT, how is that working out for him though?
It ain't working out at all.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's back to what A1 is saying. Y'all all trying to shine, y'all trying to get a contract, y'all losing, and some of you guys get put to the Hornets just to sit on the bench, just to get sent back down to the G League. Obviously, that ain't working. So start winning. And Jello is not a ball hawk. Jello will hit it right back to you. You make the right cut, you open, and if he's too guarded, he'll pass it right back to you. It's not like that. These guys got to learn how to play to win. These guys got to not just think about, oh, what's my points at the end of the game. I mean, get 5 assists. Shit. I mean, like, come on. That's what's got to be, because I hear what you're saying, but it ain't working for them. I mean, to keep doing the same stuff and you just stuck in the G League.
Yeah.
I wonder how many guys off the championship team, the team that won the championship in the G League, I wonder how many guys went on.
That's a good question. I look that up. No, but
You know what? I did want to say, recently I was watching Draymond, run Rico Hines, and he gave a speech at the end. And he was telling a lot of the guys there that you guys are doing a lot more than what your role will allow you to do in the NBA. Like, you practicing things you'll never bring to the game.
Wow.
And what I've noticed from watching, which is why I had to check out a Swarm basketball. I couldn't even show up for Jello how sickening it was to watch these guys trying everything in they Duffy, knowing no team is going to pick them up for that. Like, when I watch a full game of Kai Jones and I see a big man running point sloppily, taking step back jumpers contested on some bullshit and not even making the right play, that's disgusting. The Charlotte Hornets are not going to use you for that. They want you to be a rim protector, a lob catcher, a guy that run the floor, get easy buckets, and maybe shoots the 3 when he's open. But they coming down there and playing some bullshit, wondering why they still down there.
Yo, what's the name of the one player they brought him up and then brought him back down like the next day?
Scotty Lewis and Cameron McGriff. They're trying to keep the change.
Said y'all not winning and y'all playing this terrible basketball game, and then they pick y'all up from y'all stats, and then they realize y'all a whole bunch of ball hogs and y'all got bad habits, and they send you right back in less than 24 hours.
But that's the organization. It starts at the top. You like if I'm the owner, I'm sitting everybody down from the fucking last man G League head coach. We're about winning championships. We starting there. We're gonna start. I don't care what it's about. We're about winning championships. You start at the top. That shit has to breathe from. What did Draymond say? The owner of the Golden State Warriors, all he talk about is winning. It starts at the top, and that shit trickles down. So it has to be like the head coach got to be like, hey, I want everybody to win. I want you guys to teach this system. This is what we're gonna do, and I want you guys to fucking win. That's why we got you down there.
And I can't say it really does matter with the organization, because most of the games I have watched of the Swarm, the opposite team is always playing somewhat right.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Like, but there do be bad basketball throughout. A lot of teams, like at least half they be playing selfish ball. But it's set up like that. Everybody hungry trying to make it to the league. I don't blame them though. But at the end of the day, like that type of basketball gets you in the league, but you getting sent right back.
Man, that's like you sending your kid to a trainer, and he puts your kid, straps him up, and he puts 100 pounds on a sled, and your kid's struggling to run to pull the damn thing, and he videos it. Your kid ain't getting no better. You dig what I'm saying? You got to put him in the right situation to get better. Those guys got to make the right cut. This is how we run. Cut here. This is the offense we run, structure. And you put guys in a position like this is the position he's going to play in the NBA. And boom, you do the same thing down there. You train them. So when they get called up, it's a seamlessly transition.
Exactly. Train them for what you like. We go back to what Nico's saying. A lot of y'all are training for things that y'all never be used for. Like you should be training them. If you're looking for a 3-and-D player, you should be having all your guards that you that you got the G League that you developing to getting ready on defense and shooting threes and elevating the percentages. You know what I'm saying? So when the next man come down, like A1 said, you can pop right in and take your shot because you've been shooting. Rather than you out here doing step back Harden moves, but when you get to the league, you get 2 shots.
It's not a developmental program
at all.
Like they need a whole shift to go on there because no one is being developed, and then you see all this crazy stuff on the court, and you would think, okay, the Swarm coach, you should be pulling him out. He just shot the most horrible 2 shots in a row. Pull him out, put somebody in who was going to play their role. And that's why it perplexed me to see Jello on the bench so many times. Because I said, how long are you going to let these other guys sit out here and do stuff that's actually going against your organization? The disciplinary act right now would be to bench this guy to teach him that that's not okay. But they're actually encouraging his behavior.
That's not realistic.
Okay, explain that, Purple Baby. Explain that.
Then y'all forgetting they have to follow the money. So whoever they're playing, regardless of how bad they're playing, they're going to keep playing them, and they will keep them in the game. If they're not paying
that's fair. That's fair. It's part of their contract. That's fine.
I said this in the video before. If they followed the money for real, they would follow G3 because that's straight to the bank.
I agree with that. You got them on the tickets, and they should be. If you putting that man on the tickets, that means people are coming to see him. So he should be getting some type of minutes if you're marketing. That's false advertisement.
No, he will pay these other guys contracts off.
Yeah, I got
jersey sales.
Facts. He got
whatever they paying these other dudes.
And to be honest, if a guy's getting paid millions and he's in the G League, he don't need to be on your team.
Good point.
I mean, that's true, but
unless he's rehabbing.
Unless he's rehabbing. But if I'm getting paid $6 million and they put me down in the G League, I don't need to be on the team. Like, come on.
Yeah. But a lot of these dudes, like, it's just a terrible, development. You get so many bad habits from the G League. I'm just trying to remember when the last superstar came from the G League. I'm trying to remember.
I mean, Jordan Poole. I mean, Peyton. I mean, it's guys that come out of there.
Okay, so that's cool.
Well, let's talk about the organization
on the original roster.
What'd you say, Ball fan?
I said, well, let's just keep it to the Swarm organization because not every G League team is bad. We know teams like Miami who know how to develop players and stuff like that.
There you go.
Warriors.
But let's just go off the Spurs. I mean, the Swarm. Like, that's a
tall task.
I'm on here to watch LiAngelo and talk about it on a podcast, and it's hard for me to watch it. So a random person would have just seen that and went back to whatever they was doing. That was terrible.
You know what? Look, even if you separate fandom, even if I'm not there to watch LiAngelo Ball, I know what good basketball is, and I know who's actually playing good basketball. Jello might take a couple bad shots here and there, but it's the little things that he does right, whether it might just be moving the ball when he touches it, you get a rebound, pass that shit up immediately, or when I'm seeing him run the floor and just do the little things. Like, it's always apparent when he's on the court that he's in a different league on the mental side. Like, even like Elijah Shaw, he made a great comment saying that Jello played hard and team ball. Somebody could argue and say that Jello's not going to be allowed to do certain things in the league. Why is he practicing this and that? The thing is, Jello Ball doesn't have a specific game to where you can box him in and say this is all he's going to do on the court. Because even when he's not spotting up in the corner, he's going to run the floor hard. He's going to cut here and there when it's open. And he's just going to make the right play. That's completely different from these guys on this team that have a lot of talent, but they don't have the mental side to be able to pair maybe doing more outside of their skill set to actually be successful with it. And that's mainly what I see. That's why I'm okay with Jello running point guard in the Drew League and exercising different skills, because he's always going to do the right thing whenever, the ball is in his hands, whereas most people will not.
And to piggyback off what you just said, Nico, is that I seen LiAngelo run down the court, right? They get the rebound. He runs down the court. He's leading. He's in front of the defender towards his basket. He raised up his hand for them to throw the oop. I think it was DJ Carton, and the man just kept dribbling the ball. Like, dude, really? Like, even if you don't throw him the oop, at least throw him the outlet. You follow what I'm saying? I mean, that is so elementary. And this dude, DJ Carton, kept dribbling the ball, and he ended up turning around because he's a left-handed dribbler. He turned around with his back towards LiAngelo as LiAngelo, ran through, made the cut, could have been an easy layup, and then LiAngelo just ran all the way over to the other side of the court to post up on that three-point line, and DJ Carton brought the ball back up to restart the offense. When he had an easy fast break, if he didn't want to be fancy and throw the oop, just pass it up the court and just let LiAngelo just lay the ball up if that's what you wanted. You know what I mean? But the dude disregarded that man being behind the defender and turned around and reset the offense when they had a 2-on-1 fast break. I said, unbelievable.
Nico, also like what you said, because there's this misconception. People get it misconstrued that, like these dudes are just reality star guys and that we're all behind them, rooting them on because they're like a Kardashian. No, we want the Hornets organization to win. That's why we say let Melo control it, not because we just fans. We want LiAngelo to get more minutes because we want to see the Swarm do something. We know that when the ball touches their hands, they have all of them high IQs, including LiAngelo, and they're gonna make good decisions. This isn't just let Lonzo control it because we like his hairstyle or something weird like that. No, this is not no fanboy stuff. We talking about sports. We see something that a lot of people, they don't see, and especially when we talk about them together. And now we come together and we say, no, play this guy. Let this guy do this. Try to relay facts to people. But if some people can see the game, what should be happening and what would happen if this and if that happened, and other people can only see what is. So if you see LiAngelo get passed the ball out of place and they didn't pass it to him for the first 7 minutes of the game, and he seems to be a little frustrated and chucks up a shot and misses it, now LiAngelo sucks. We say, you don't know the game of basketball.
We experienced that in Los Angeles when Lonzo was here. They having people, Brandon Ingram, even Rondo, Josh Hart, all these guys bring the ball up the court, and they'll put Lonzo on the corner, knowing he's supposed to be the point guard. He don't touch the ball for possessions. Then he finally gets a shot. He misses it. They say he sucks. And in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, like, he just had a rhythm before we started to mess up his rhythm. And once he's out of rhythm, now we have the people that have no perceptive ability and understanding of basketball pushing narratives about him being trash. And that kind of stuff can get to him because then he might try too hard in this moment, or he could be unengaged in the next moment because the game of basketball is just not flowing. Like, I've noticed this. The way that these guys play basketball is a flow. It's really like some old town, what people would say when people play in New York, Rucker Park, just some beautiful ocean-like style of basketball. And when that flow is messed up, you're not going to get the best out of these guys. And that's why I say they're dumbing themselves down when they're playing with the people they're playing with. Because I seen Jello run the floor so many times, and it was for nothing. He's already I've seen Jello under the court a couple times, and the point guard is semi-jogging the ball up the court. I'll see that, even when Lakers with Lonzo Ball. If he don't get the board, they're not scoring in transition because he's the only guy looking to score in transition. Only time he really had a good transitional year for the Lakers was when LeBron came, because LeBron would run the floor. And LeBron know where to be. And that's where I kind of compare their level of IQ to. It's a chess game with them. And that's why they've been so successful when they've played together. They understand this game of chess. Most people just understand the game of basketball and not the intricacies of basketball. And I'll just say this last thing with Jello. When people might say, why doesn't Jello bring the ball up the court? Or, why doesn't he make plays in transition? The thing is, he puts the ball in a ball handler's hand. And he understands that I can run faster without the basketball. When you see Jello pass the ball up, he's always sprinting full speed past the guy he just got the ball to get in position to score. Somebody, like, his teammates don't even see that. It's almost weird watching his games, man. I ain't gonna front. I'm getting a little annoyed thinking about it because it's like it's just good basketball. It's good basketball that we know should be like. We just seen the Warriors win. They didn't make the best plays throughout the playoffs, but they did have 3 core guys that are always willing to make the right plays at all times, and that's why they were able ultimately to win the series. They made adjustments, and they were able to make the right plays when it mattered. That's why the Ball brothers must play together. When you put at least 2 people on the floor that know how to make the right plays, you change the entire game. Don't let it be 3.
Big facts.
Hey, hey, don't let it be 3.
They don't want to see that. They're holding that out for whatever reason. Well, shout out my man Marvin.
You don't want to see Jello, Zoe, and Melo on the same court together. I'm fucking telling everybody that now. You don't want to see these dudes playing together, bro. Because people thought Chino Hills was special. That's just some high school shit. They wasn't even playing to their full capabilities at Chino Hills. That was showtime. When they get to this next level, we hear the bust everybody ass. That's a different level of basketball. When you see them together, a motivated Lonzo, like y'all haven't seen Lonzo yet, where somebody knows how Lonzo plays the game of basketball on his team. We only kind of seen him with Bron. That's the only time we ever kind of seen it. But put him with his brother and watch how LaMelo elevate Lonzo game just because Lonzo do the small shit that nobody notices. Point up for the lob here and there, backdoor cut, wide open for a jump shot. His teammates miss that every game. Lonzo literally has at least 20 points on the floor missed every night. That's what people don't understand. When you talk about his point total and what he don't do.
But Nico, yes. He had some moments with the Pelicans as well. Remember with him and Zion, that was a frenzy going on over there in the Pelicans before Zion eventually got hurt.
Yeah, Zion is a high
don't forget
IQ
that moment.
Player.
Yeah, don't forget that moment.
I try to erase the Pelicans out of my memory.
Zion, he's smart, man.
Yeah, Zion knows how to play basketball. And it's very rare when you I don't think organizations quite understand that. Like, if they did, they would draft the guys that understand basketball like that. But they keep hitting and missing in certain areas. And when I'm watching somebody like Lonzo, every time you pair him with another high IQ player, magic happens. Why is nobody realizing that? Every time this guy touches the ball, it's magic. Literally.
Yeah.
You speak a big facts.
I just think the Pelicans had an agenda, and that's why they took the ball out of his hands and put it in Zion's hands. We kind of seen that. Exactly. You said it. You just said it, Flight. Yeah, they really don't want to pay him.
So contract was coming out, and it probably would have been more money.
How do you guys running point with Lonzo's in the game? That don't even sound right.
Like what I'm saying, it was like a sabotage to me. I mean, that's how I look at it.
I look at it like this. If we regulars, now I'm going to say we civilians, but we're not in the NBA, and we can see that's a bad idea. I'll be like, these paid professionals should know the best shooter, the best scorer shouldn't be passing the ball, and the best passer shouldn't be shooting the ball. Like, it don't, like that. That's not that hard to figure out.
Well, but listen, they told the Pelicans that it's better when Lonzo run the ball. I mean, they said it during like post game interviews. They said that out of their own mouth. Brandon as well as Zion as well as Josh Hart. They said that. It's better when Lonzo pass. It's better when Lonzo run the offense, but Zion, he's a monster. You know what I'm saying? They'll follow it up like that, to save face. But in actuality, if Josh, Zion, and BI said it's better when Lonzo run the ball, then why they not running Lonzo the ball? So it got to be because his contract year is coming up and they try to minimize it as much as possible. So it's more politics than actual ability.
Well, what's going on, guys? What's up? What's up,
Pelicans. He was never.
Shout out to Marvin.
I just wanted to chime in for a second, guys. I want to say one thing about Lonzo. I'm just happy in Chicago now, guys. I think we got a chance to right now. I'm happy in a nice ran organization now. I'm not trying to.
This the Bulls fan right here.
You understand me?
Playing with a bunch of balls.
The Bulls gonna use him. It might not seem like we used him very much last year, guys, but he shot 10 times a game in 35 games. we gonna use it. But to the
We-
Charlotte Hornets,
I hope
to
so.
the Charlotte, but to the Charlotte Hornets, I understand everybody's situation about what's going on with the G League and the Hornets. But guys, what are we expecting from an organization that we sit here and talk about daily? The direction, the fundamental, even the bringing up their players. I mean, the main NBA team is almost in shambles. I'm not talking about them, but we all know this. So it's unfortunate that he's actually with this organization. If he was in any other organization, he'd be shining. I believe they'd be. I honestly believe that.
We
But
can't say that.
I believe that. I believe that. I believe that because hold on, wait, let me say this. Because the Hornets organization, from top to bottom, we have questioned from the start, and you know we have. Now, if you think if I think he's doing the worst he can with this team. Any other organization he can do a lot better.
You talking about Lonzo? Not, I was just speaking
In
on.
other words, this team here is not going to develop him. It's not going to play him right, and it's going to make it all look bad. If he was on another organization, I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying we talking about the Charlotte Hornets. And I think that's where it all comes from. I just want to chime in and say that. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, that goes back to what Davi was saying, like in the chat, right? He said Lonzo can't even be a point guard over there. They gave, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you see that on the Pelicans? Did you see that when LeBron was there, the ball wasn't in his hand? That's LeBron, of course, but at the end of the day, that's not his main thing that he does. Like, you see what I'm saying? So he can go to another organization, just like Nico said, like, they're only paying people to do specific things. Like, right now, we need a 3-and-D player. Get in where you fit in. You know what I'm saying? It ain't you're going to have decisions and stuff like that.
Two ball hogs. I just mentioned he got 10 shots a game in 35 games.
That's not what he's used to.
You know how many shots that? Wait a minute. You know what his regular shot per game is?
You got to remember though, none of these teams used him right. He not once had a coach.
What he did with the Bulls. You talking about his ball hogs?
You talking about
what he did with the Bulls?
But you're mentioning his stats like from previous seasons.
Can I comment on that real quick?
Because
he had a chance 10 times a game.
That's not enough.
Well, no, put it like this. Look, we can't extrapolate to just stats when it comes to Lonzo Ball.
Exactly.
He's done so many other things.
How he's getting them 10 shots? Are they corner threes? Like, that's not his game. He can get hot off of passing people the ball, rebounding, all types of stuff. But like the fact that he's only standing in the corner, he can't even really be active, and he's not going to really. When you're not being yourself, you don't got the same energy. If that makes sense.
Okay,
That make a lot of sense. That make a lot of sense.
You got facts with that though, KNT, because the day he got hurt, the Bulls were 14 games over 500.
But when we got to also remember during COVID, he was averaging damn near LaMelo numbers. When all them
what they were when he was
25 games over 500.
I'm saying
what they were when he was on the court.
Nico came on.
A lot of people forget where they were when he got hurt and look at what they ended up as. He didn't play in the second half at all.
But when he was playing,
he wasn't standing in no corners, shooting no threes in the second half because he didn't play.
Okay, hold on, gentlemen. Hold on 1 second. Listen, this is where the fail happened with Lonzo, right? In the Bulls. I'm not gonna let this go. I'm gonna be on this like a pit bull on an electric fence. The time where they was gonna play the Detroit Pistons, and the Bulls requested a reprieve, and the NBA gave them a reprieve or granted them a reprieve. Now, I can't speak upon the Toronto Raptors because that game probably was going to get canceled regardless, right? During the heightening of COVID and how it rashed through the Bulls organization, they probably wasn't going to allow them to go over to that country, period. So that game was probably going to be canceled. But that Detroit Piston game, I'm talking about the lowly cellar dwellers.
That was minuscule.
Bottom feeder Detroit Pistons. The Bulls cop cheese. They seen that they did not have DeRozan. They seen they did not have Zach. All they had was Lonzo, Booch, and the rest of the crew, and some G League players. They did not play the freaking Pistons out of all people, because they was afraid that they might lose that game and lose ground, which that game wasn't going to put them in a tailspin. They should allow Lonzo and Vooch to take on the Pistons, and that would have showed them and the rest of the Bulls how much confidence they have in a full roster, not just two guys. And I think that's where the Bulls laid an egg at, and I think it somehow adversely affected them by not playing that game. Even though they won the game, once that game was reinstated or rescheduled, they actually won that game, right? But if they would have played with the players they had available against those Detroit Pistons who was suffering the same thing, you know what I mean? They had players out too. That would have showed the Chicago fan base that we are good regardless of who we have, and we're not biting our fingernails because of Zach and DeRozan is out for a freaking Detroit Piston game.
Yeah, keep it a stack. During COVID was the best offensive basketball they had. Just being honest. Because when that, and another thing too, I agree with it. They got to slip up, but my thing that they slipped up with the Bulls is when you seen Lonzo offense working, you should have brought, and when DeRozan and Levine came back in, you were supposed to get them on Lonzo offense. They went right back to hero ball.
That's not gonna happen.
I know, but that. At the end of the day, champions make adjustments. That's why.
Purple Baby, Purple Baby. Why it's not gonna happen? You can't just say it's not gonna happen. Give us some deets.
Because of
I want to comment on that after she finishes.
Status that they hold.
And I got a question for KMT.
Oh, that's like with the Wiggins situation. He's always gonna be a third option compared to Clay, and I don't think that's fair. I think he should be a second option, but he's always going to be a third option on that team. So with Lonzo and the Bulls, for us to be confused, like whether he's the third coming into this season or the fourth behind Vucevic, is ridiculous. It shouldn't even be a question. You should know who your 1, 2, and 3, and 4th guys are as far as running your offense or who's going to score within your offense and everything. Like, we know who the 1 and 2 is, but we don't know who the third one is.
But you don't think he can be a Rondo for the Celtics when they won their championship? He was the number 3 or 4 option, the 4th option, but he maintained and ran the offense. That's what Lonzo should be doing. Them dudes should just be getting easy dunks and layups, but they want to shoot 18 pump fakes.
But that's
all right. Well, let me say this.
Hold on, y'all.
I read that for you, Blake.
Hold on. Yeah, you can definitely do that. But shout out my man Elijah Shaw with the $20 super chat. We appreciate you. You wanted to read it?
Yeah, I got you. I was going to shout out to Elijah Shaw. But at 20,
you can answer it
I
too.
believe Clifford will let Melo run the offense like he did with Kemba, and hopefully will call Jello up before. And what the fuck? They still got Gordon Hayward. My fault.
Yeah.
I ain't checking this thing.
He's still on the team. They can't move him right now.
But
man.
during the season with Mr. Glass,
Well, hold on, guys. Let me address
laying
something.
out
Let me say one thing, Dex. Me and you didn't have it out about that issue you talking about when the Bulls took that little time off.
Hold on, Marvin. Don't forget. After this question, let him finish. Let him answer his $20 super chat.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Because this guy paid to get his question pushed through. Shout out to everybody dropping their questions in the chat. We're gonna try to get to everybody. It's Flight Sports. Okay. Go ahead. Who Nico? Were you done?
oh yeah, I mean for the most part, I mean I'll answer it and agree with him, and say this: if you don't let Melo run your offense by now, you probably need to be fired.
Yes.
If you watched the level of basketball that he can play as a 6'7" point guard, flashy, make jump shots, make smart plays, playing better defense now, which he don't get enough credit for, playing better defense, and being able to do everything that every superstar that plays around the league is doing, then you're probably not the coach that should be in the NBA.
Right.
And
Hey, Dwight, I'm about to get up out of here. But before I go, I want to say this, just my closing statement. And it sounds like everybody want to see Lonzo really be himself, Jello be himself, LaMelo be himself. This is why it's so important that we beat this dead horse that nobody wants to hear. It's important that they all play together. This is the
That's
reason
right.
that I make the content that I make. One of the main reasons is because LeVar did something where he set up his sons, he groomed them, he raised them in a fashion that they could come together and change the NBA forever with a style of play. And we may never get to see it happen again. I don't think it'll ever happen like this again, this close in age, at the apex of their physicality. And you know, you only got so many years to get this done. And right now, you know, Lonzo after his Bulls, LaMelo after Hornets, and Jello trying to get pulled up. It's a window that's coming up where everybody can get to see, no matter what team it is, the best out of Lonzo, the best out of LiAngelo, the best out of LaMelo. All of your complaints that you have for them, they will just somehow dissolve. And it's not somehow, it's because that's how they were raised together. And that's why I continue to be on the side of, yes, they should play together. And people say, it's a pipe dream, let it go. LaMelo is good without his brothers. He's great without his brothers, but he's greater with them. With everything Nico was saying about them having to play down with other players, that is the truth. That is facts. That is straight up facts. So that's why we do the way we do. And one thing, Flight, I'm always come back to your channel because you keep it real. And LeVar never told me this, but he just taught me by example. You know what I'm saying? LeVar he don't gotta invite me. He ain't gotta call me. He ain't gotta do none of that. He had a stratosphere, whatever, but he always reached back down and keep it up and keep it 100 with the ones that was real with him from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? And he ain't got to tell me that. I just peep it. And what I see by that is he always keep love in the streets. The media may slander him, but when we out, LeVar got love in the streets. You know what I mean? So that just let me know, like, man, no matter where I get, no matter how many subscribers I get, no matter how much the content gets better, and people like you, Flight, are always gonna keep it real. You know what I mean? And that's gonna encourage you to grow. And and you gonna do the same thing. Everybody keep doing that, keeping it real, no matter what heights you get. So I just salute you, Flight. I salute everybody on the panel, and you know what I'm saying. Thank y'all. Y'all made my night tonight. I had a good time off. I just cut the computer off and chill with y'all. So I appreciate everybody on this panel. Thank y'all, and I'm out of here.
Peace out, Ball.
All right, peace.
Yeah. And they gonna get theirs, but I want to just ask Dex something. Dex, now I was listening to what you were saying about, remember that break when they didn't play the guys and they took that postponed game against Detroit, right? Now at that time, the Bulls were 17-10 when they took that break, Dex. Now check this out. They won 8 straight games after that, and 2 games after that, Lonzo Ball got hurt. The 8 straight games took their record to 26-10. 3 games later, Lonzo Ball got hurt. They was 27-13. That's why I say that when they didn't play that game, that was minuscule. The injury to Lonzo Ball was everything. I say again, right after that delay, you said in Detroit, postponed, and then they postponed against Toronto, they won 8 straight games. And they ended up at 26-10. Then they lost on the road to Dallas, came home and beat Detroit, lost to Brooklyn, and the next game against Golden State, Lonzo Ball got hurt. They was 27-13. Now, this is what I'm saying to everybody who say he was just standing in the corner. They were 27-13. They just won 8 out of the last 10 games, and he got hurt. Now, no production was he given? I'm not going to read his numbers, but the production of the team was off the charts. They was 8-2, and then he got hurt. Now, I know it might seem like he was standing in the corner and doing this and doing that, but that's more in the sentiment of the second half. To you, KNT, that was his last game. That game was on 1-14. He did not play the second half at all this past year. And the Bulls stunk the joint up. I'm not saying he's the be-all, but he means a lot to the team. And that layoff, because I told Dex then, they just didn't have enough players at the time. It wasn't the fact that they just didn't want to play that game. They were afraid if somebody else got hurt, they were going to be down to 6 players because they only had 8. So they didn't want that. And I'm not excusing the fact that they took the game off. I figured they probably could have won it too. But they won 8 straight after that. So I don't think that was a difference in the season, is what I'm saying.
Shout out to you, Marvin. You do sound very dedicated to the Bulls. But he's definitely within the corner. And I've watched a lot of Bulls games. But I just want to put this in here.
But Nico,
what's up,
that's the type of offense. Unfortunately, that's the type of offense.
That's right. He the best
That's
3-point shooter. Where
that's
y'all want him?
that's not predicated upon Lonzo. That's just the type of offense they run.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's very
That's
flawed.
what it
It'll
is.
definitely
Okay,
get you
Nico.
out in the first round.
And also too as well, you know, Lonzo Ball since college, which I think everyone highlights his college of him being himself. You know, guess how many shots he took on to college and on average? He only took 9.5 shots a game. He's never been a volume. He's never been a volume shooter, and
That's true.
I don't think he's ever
Yeah,
going to be that player. Now, I do agree that he
he
does
could
need to
take
have the
more.
ball in it. I do agree he does need to have the ball in his hands more to make
Yeah,
decisions for the team. And I think basically, you know, that going into this season, I definitely think they're going to be highlighting that
yeah,
more. At least I hope. At least I'm hopeful they will. You know,
yeah.
but he's never been a volume shooter. I don't think he's ever going to be that. He's going to be a player that loves to move the ball around. He's going to pick his spots when he gets his shot, and he's going to do that. He's the player. He's similar to I'm not saying he is this player, but he's similar to like a Draymond Green, where he's going to do whatever it takes to win the basketball game,
Right.
no matter what it
Yeah.
is, whether it's guarding the best defender. If it's him, where he has to take 15, 16 shots a game. You know, is it him where basically where he wants to get 13, 12 assists. You know, if he needs to do it, he's going to do whatever it takes to win. And that's
And
just
I got a
the type of
question.
player he is. And that's what
Yeah,
makes Lonzo's great. He doesn't hunt down particular stats. He
yeah.
just does whatever it is to
Draymond
win.
played point guard
And I
more than
just want to
Lonzo
ask
for the
him a question.
Bulls.
Nico,
I'm
let me
not
ask you
saying,
a question.
Marvin,
I'm not
more
saying that
guy.
he doesn't, Nico. I'm just saying that Lonzo wants
That's
to
a problem.
win, and Lonzo wants to
No, it's
win.
not. That's his game.
But let me address Marvin real quick. Marvin, I wasn't speaking about anything far as the talent pool on the team. I wasn't speaking about that. So by them winning those games consecutively, that's cool. That's what the Bulls supposed to do. They were supposed to be one of the loggers. You know what I mean? You know them log trucks have all them logs on there, and they go through all kind of you know crooks and crevice to get those logs out of the forest and to wherever manufacturing they need to go. That's what the
I know.
Bulls was. So we wasn't tripping about that. But to show that they was a superior team, they should have played that Detroit game. That's the only thing I'm saying. They should
Oh
have
yeah, and
never ever. They should have made the NBA. Hold on, Marvin. They should have made the NBA say no, you can't play. But they should have been at that stadium ready to kick down the doors to play that game. That's the type of mentality I feel that the Bulls suffered from in the playoffs because those same guys, when there was no Lonzo, there was no Zach, Javante Green, I don't know where the hell he was, and Derrick Jones Jr. When all these dudes had to play, that's what happens. Where are your confidence? Because
well,
you always need that statement game, right? That even if you lose a statement game, you need that statement game so you can rah-rah your troops. And the Bulls never had that statement game where they played a significant amount of time during a game without their two stars, DeRozan and Zach. That's the only thing that I'm saying. That's why they should have played
yeah,
it for the mental aspect, not so much as their record or whatever. You know what I mean? To show the players
yeah.
that we got confidence in you. You're wearing a Bulls uniform. Go get that victory. And when
And I understand.
somewhere down the line, they can come back and use that game as a reflection. Like, you remember when you played that Detroit team? You killed that Detroit team. Look, you know what? You beat that Detroit team by
Yeah,
17 points. No DeMar, no Zach Levine. Booch was barely hanging on. You follow what I'm saying? You need those
yeah,
rah-rah games. That's all I'm
yeah.
saying.
And I understand that. And I understand that totally, Dex. I wasn't saying in a sense like you meant any harm. What I was saying was I don't think it was the turning point of the season. Now, this is what I want to bring up when I say this, and this is to Nico also. When you say that Lonzo was not doing what he was doing, if you go into the Golden State game at 27-12 and you just won 8 out of 10, what are you going to change? Nothing's wrong. That game he got hurt. Now, if it might have seemed like he was standing in the corners or whatever, but and I guess we all said this earlier, this is really not a winning formula, but I don't think we were saying that when they were 27-12.
I said
I
that.
don't.
Me and
Yes, they
Nico
I
do.
mean,
said
but
that.
all right, but well, let me
Everybody
say
was
this.
saying
To
that.
Appreciate it
say,
every day.
Everybody
Me
was
and
saying
Nico
that.
said
to
that.
say that when you, well, wait a
Yeah,
minute,
I'm gonna tell
15
you how.
games over. Hold on,
Listen to
let me
this.
say this. If you talking about a 15 game over team, you just talking
But
because
No,
that's
Marvin,
no. Listen,
winning.
but
I'm
That's
gonna tell
let's
you
winning.
Before
what.
we knew
listen
the
to this.
Warriors were winning.
Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm
You
so
was
glad we
looking
can
for
bring
something.
this up.
You
Hold on,
was
real
Can
looking
we
for
can
something.
we say something?
Hold on, real
How
quick.
many?
Nico's on the panel, so I can actually have him on here to confirm it. Right? They asked
Okay.
us our preseason thought of the Chicago Bulls. Dex was there. He don't want to ask me. I said they're going to be a number 4 seed and choke in the playoffs, and they be out in 5 to 7 business days. Facts. Ain't that what I said? That's
Yes, and
exactly
they
what
went
they
in the
happened
playoffs
in real life.
and they went
And
in the playoffs with a, they
also,
went in the playoff with a team shell of
also,
themselves too. They were
also,
not healthy.
also, in the middle of the season, we said they're getting comfortable playing bad basketball, and it's going to kill them in the playoffs. They need to switch the offense to what Lonzo was doing. We also said
Okay,
that. What a good record.
I mean, it's kind of
okay.
hard
At the
to
break,
it's kind of hard to
at the
switch it
break.
when
All
he's
right,
not
listen to
there.
this. At the break, they were 39 and 22.
And
Were
can
you
I
saying
ask
it
you something,
then?
Marvin?
Yes.
Can I ask
17
you
games
something,
over.
Marvin? Can
Uh,
I ask you something?
Yeah, go ahead, Don.
Being said
Go
also,
ahead.
how many teams with that record were above 500 after 20 games? So, because I know the beginning of the season, everybody. So after 20 games that the Bulls played, how many of those teams after was over 500?
I don't understand the question. What you mean? The teams that they had beat?
Well, over 500. I don't know. I gotta pull it up.
Because that was
That
the
would be a
issue.
question I
People
have to look up.
said that the Bulls, and it's not the Bulls' fault, they were playing, bad teams. They started off with an easy schedule. When the
Okay, wait.
competition got
Well, let me
better,
tell you. All right, let me tell you. They beat Brooklyn twice. They beat Dallas. They beat Utah. They beat. Let me go through the rest of them. They beat Toronto twice. They lost to Miami. They beat Cleveland. They beat Denver. They beat New
Clippers,
York.
Lakers.
But
They
Marvin,
beat the
I got
Clippers and the Lakers. Now, see, hold on. Let me say this.
Marvin, I
Cause
got
see,
a question for
I
you,
hear,
Marvin. I got a question for you,
I
Marvin.
hear that all. I hear that all the time. But then again, that's because you say those teams wasn't playing well in the first half, but they played well down the stretch. They still beat them. I'm not
Marvin, I
taking
got a
away the
question
fact
for
that
you.
they didn't win. Yeah, okay, but let me say this. I'm not taking away the fact that they didn't play well against higher up echelon teams. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is this: the day, and I'm not just putting it all on Lonzo, but the day he got hurt, they were 15 games over 500. They were 17 games over 500 at the All-Star break. They
but
they
that
lost.
matters
Wait,
about
let me.
how many teams they was
Okay,
playing
but
over
what are you going to
500 though.
fix? What are you going to fix if you 17 games over?
I got a list for you.
Okay, but that's you just looking for something. Obviously,
I'm not looking
everybody
for
would want
nothing.
to be said. Listen, they were a half game out of Billy Donovan being the coach of the Eastern Conference team.
Marvin, can I
A
ask you
half
this real?
game.
It's
They
just a
lost
simple
that last
question.
game before the All Star break, and he didn't get that. He didn't get
Marvin,
a
I got
chance to
a
coach.
simple question for you. So I
You can
said the
say that
Warriors was
now.
gonna
You
win at the
said
beginning
they
of
played
the
well
year.
in the
You think I
second
was
half.
saying that because I was thinking of something, or do I know something about the team that's different compared to everybody else?
No, you just trying to find something. If you 17 games over
Oh
500,
shit!
you don't have nothing to
No,
say.
Marvin. He's
Yeah,
not trying to find anything. But Marvin, you have to always remember this too. The Bulls, Golden State, and Phoenix and the Lakers had one of the easiest schedules in the first half of the season, right?
Thank you.
And then
I
not
mean,
only
but if
that,
you're gonna
Marvin,
listen,
but
they're gonna
hold
play
on,
them
there's
games.
more. Hold on, there's more. Now, you also have to remember the same way that the Bulls was playing, Brooklyn was playing, right? Also, Boston was playing, but the difference was the Bulls in Brooklyn were winning playing that way. Remember that? Brooklyn was the number
Yes.
one ISO team. Bulls was like second, Boston was like third. But Boston were losing playing that ISO ball until they
Because
had
they
that meeting. They
injured.
changed it around, and then
Got
then
you.
they started ascending, playing more unselfish basketball. But Brooklyn and the Bulls stayed the same. Kevin Durant got hurt,
And they
and
both
then
were
that
hurt.
took Brooklyn
They
out the
both
way.
were hurt. They both got hurt bad. The Bulls
Yeah, they
and
got
Brooklyn.
Bulls got hurt
And
in Brooklyn,
Boston did. And Boston didn't.
but
See,
That's
this
Boston
is
because
what
changed
they
you
the
guys
game
played
got
of
to
the
though.
year
realize.
with
See,
Milwaukee.
you keep
Don't
going back
lie
to the
like
second
that.
half and not realizing the Bulls were not the full Bull team in the second half.
No,
But
Marvin.
Milwaukee and Boston was injured. So
Boston changed their
They
offense.
still had their players.
That's what made Boston ascend like that.
Stop it,
they
Faison.
They
they
still
was
had their
injured
players.
too.
You
Them
gonna
and
tell me they
Milwaukee
did
was
that if
injured.
Jason Tatum got hurt? No. Lonzo Ball wasn't. He didn't play at all the second half. And that's the. I'm not listen, guys. I know we played bad in the second
Yeah,
half.
we're just talking about
I dare
adjustments.
say.
That's all.
Okay, but you also have to point in account that your best player on the team wasn't playing the whole second half. Don't that mean something to anybody on this panel? I
So now
understand that
Lonzo
they
is the
played
best
bad.
player on the
I
team.
understand they
I
could have
don't. I
played
don't
better.
know if Lonzo was the best player on the team that year, but all I'm saying is that he was the best defensive player by far. But what I'm
He
saying is
meant
that,
everything to that team.
listen,
You know that.
Marvin, listen to what I'm saying. What I'm saying, Brooklyn didn't change, Bulls didn't change, and Bulls only went one game further than Brooklyn. But
Let
who
me say
did
this.
change was Boston.
Go ahead.
Boston
Okay.
changed their
And
offense,
Milwaukee.
One thing they
and
didn't
Milwaukee.
change was their players though, because they didn't get hurt. Kevin
Yes,
Durant
they
got hurt,
was,
and wait,
Marvin. They
listen.
was hurt at the
Kevin
beginning
Durant
of the
got hurt.
year.
They
What are you
lost
talking about?
11 straight games, Dex. You think that didn't mean nothing because Kevin wasn't there? That's why they failed. When Lonzo Ball got hurt, the Bulls went 2-13 in a stretch. Right after that,
We're not talking about that aspect,
Well,
Marvin. We're not talking
what
about
what
that point. We're
we can
you
talking
say
about the
that.
saying Boston
adjustments.
changed? I'm telling you, Boston changed. They could change because they still had all their players.
No, they
But
didn't. They was
Well,
injured. What are you talking
Who
about?
was
well,
hurt?
can I look? Can I say this real quick,
William?
Dak?
Because in
Tatum and
Milwaukee,
Brown got hurt,
To
No,
address
they
and
Marcus
Marcus Smart.
Brown
And
got
Marcus
hurt.
Smart got hurt.
look, the
All three of
reason
them
they
got hurt.
started losing
10%
is
of the
because they
Bulls were.
lost the only player other than Alex Caruso willing to move the basketball.
And yes, they
That's
were
why.
running bad offense. I agree. I agree with that. But that comes with continuity with all the players. You're going to have problems if some of your players are missing. We all know that. And
And
that's what
see,
it
and this
But
is
I
occurred.
what
got to,
Marvin. And see,
but
Marvin,
I got
this
to,
is where Marvin. This is where you have a dissociation at, because prior to all of that, the Bulls came in 9-0, and I'm counting preseason. They came in 9-0. They ran into New York. That was their first loss, and that's where the offense changed. If you can't grasp that, then you need to go listen to the interview between Draymond Green and DeMar DeRozan.
All he
He
said is he
playing.
wanted to
He
hit
play.
the shot. X. You got that totally wrong. He said he wanted to
No,
hit the
no,
shot.
not no, 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 Marvin. Remember, you said
X.
this too. I vowed. I vowed with the spirit of Michael Jordan that they wouldn't happen again. So what do that means? I put the
That mean
team
they
on my
went.
back. Didn't
Okay,
he say
that mean
that?
they.
You got to
that he
finish
just
it now.
wants to,
All
that he
right,
just wants to
listen. That
win,
mean they
man.
went to the break. That mean he played hard and they went to the break at 38-21. What's wrong
I
with
put
that?
the team on my back because I
but
vowed
nobody
with the
else
That
spirit of
did.
means,
Michael Jordan.
And
that
What else
so,
means he
more?
just wants
17
to
games
win,
over
Dex.
500.
That's all I'm
and
getting.
I
I
have
mean,
no
see,
problem with that.
this is why I say this
Y'all
because
Ain't
you
no
said
problem with that.
something.
y'all
They
disconnected
wasn't.
Problem.
from that tremendous
I listen
ISO
to this,
ball,
Dex. They
and Jimmy
wasn't
couldn't
17
control it.
games under Dex. Dex. They wasn't 17 games under. They were 17 games over.
It doesn't matter, Marvin. You have to make
Well, what are you
adjustments.
looking for then? What
What?
are you looking
Okay,
for?
well,
20
Laker, hold
games?
on. Let me give you some history then. What happened when Phil Jackson brought in
That's
Harper, Ron Harper? Hold on, Ron Harper, Rick Fox, Robert Horry, Shaq, and Kobe in a meeting.
that's
And the Lakers was first place. You know what he said? He said a few words. Kobe, pass the fucking ball. And now the
okay.
meeting's over. Meeting's over.
That's fine.
Because he knew
That's
that
fine.
if Kobe's going to keep going doing shots over Shaq and some of the other guys, then they're only going to go so far, and they might not win a championship, especially bumping up against the Spurs, who was so fundamental, especially bumping up against Sacramento, who was just outstanding. They should have had at least one championship in that Sacramento run, but they just couldn't get past the Lakers. And Phil knew this because Phil was already a championship coach, and he told Mike the same thing. If you see Paxson open, Mike, give the ball to Paxson. Isn't that what he told Mike?
Yeah, but let me say this. In the run, when Lonzo Ball was on, this is something you probably didn't know. While Lonzo Ball was on the court with DeMar DeRozan, DeRozan ended up shooting 20 shots a game. But when Lonzo
Did you
Ball
find
played
that
them 35
surprising?
games, he averaged 16 days. That's what you're getting at? What I'm getting at is this. He wouldn't have shot all them damn shots if Lonzo was there.
That's
He
not
was
true.
pounding the ball. Yes, he was pounding the ball because what? Lonzo wasn't there. Not the only
That's
reason,
not true,
but
Marvin.
part
Hey,
of the reason.
Marvin.
Part of the
Marvin,
reason.
Marvin, I got a question for you, Marvin. I got a question for you, Marvin. So, I remember basically having this conversation with someone before, as far as like where Lonzo
It was
saw
unstoppable.
majority. Yeah, when Lonzo saw majority of his shots at. So Dex, you remember because you was on here. So this is because I was talking to Sky and Sky couldn't grasp it. But this is the thing right here. Everyone talks about Lonzo standing in the corner. To be
Yeah,
very honest with you, the player that actually stood in the corner was the player that played the four, which was the Patrick Williams
yeah.
or the Devontae Green. That's who stood in the corner. Lonzo mainly was on the wing majority of the time. That's where all his shots came from. All Lonzo's shots, majority of them came from the wing, either from the top of the break or from the wing.
Yep.
That's where all his shots came from. So I think there's a misconception that he just stood in the corner. Now, on some plays, did he go there? Yes. But did he just go in the corner? No, that's a misconception right there,
No,
man.
no.
That's a
I mean,
misconception. I'm
That's
looking at Billy Donovan's
but I
offense right
understand what you're
now.
saying, but they're
I'm
saying standing in the corner more for him just not being involved in the offense. They're not actually saying he stands directly in the corner because the wing and the corner is pretty much the same area, pretty much. That's what
I
like.
understand
not
exactly what you guys saying about him in the
I,
corner
I
because
and I get that, but
yes, and I do too. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, it's like I get that concept, but
That's
then
really
you
what's
gotta
happening. Like
then
he's
that's I
literally
get that I get that
he shouldn't
concept. I
be
truly
waiting.
do.
He should be the
I
one
sh-
moving it. He shouldn't be.
I get,
He shouldn't be
but
reacting. He should be
but
forcing.
but listen,
Okay, so
they don't run. But
KMT.
hold on. Let me explain this to KMT. KMT, they don't run an offense where the point guard is running the basketball pick and roll heavy. That's not the type of offense he has. That's not the type of offense Billy Donovan runs with Lonzo. It's you get the ball at the top of the key where they run this concept called five horns, where basically it's going to be two players sitting in the front and two players on the wing, right? That's what he runs. Then Lonzo's going to make the decision on whether he's going to go to the left or go to the right. And whoever basically flashes, which is usually Vooch, because Vooch is the best passer out of Patrick Williams and himself, and out of Patrick Williams and himself, he passes it to Vooch. Vooch reverses it. If he doesn't have the wide open shot, he reverses it to either Zach or DeMar. They get the ball. He sets a pick and roll. Then basically DeMar or Levine usually have a straight line to the basket, or
Or
basically they
kick
can take
out.
the shot or a kick out or take the shot. The issue is that sometimes they just don't kick out. But when they do, Lonzo is typically open on the wing because he's on the weak side and he shoots the basketball. That's how the offense
At
runs.
a high percentage.
But
That's how
Now,
the
that,
offense. That's how the offense runs,
but
man.
that's so
and
crazy.
I just want to say this, and I'm not knocking you,
That is
KMT. I'm not
literally
not knocking
that
none
is
of you guys
literally
for saying that. But you cannot, if anybody, and I understand what Nico said also. But when you try to decrease a team that is 17 games over 500, you are looking for something because every
Marvin,
team in the
We
NBA,
we just see bad
every
basketball.
team, what is the goal in the NBA? To win games, right?
We just see what we
win the
every
championship.
night that you go out there, you're putting on a show that, like, you know what I mean, for the fans.
Derozan,
And as
Okay,
fans,
but
Lonzo's back in
also
Toronto.
you
That's
you
the
we
you
issue.
you
forget
didn't get a chance to see it in the
hold
second half because he wasn't there.
on real quick,
I got a
Marvin.
question for you.
I actually watched the game personally. I actually, when Lonzo came to Philly, I was there. You know what I'm saying? And I got to watch. You know what I'm saying? See what he was really doing. That's why.
We got beat down in that game.
You know what I'm saying? And I watched him on defense. I watched the other dudes. Like, it's just different. He should have the ball. He's the smartest player on the court, and it's not even close. Like, it's so
but
crazy.
but
Hold
the
on real
thing
quick.
is
It's so crazy, right? Joel Embiid couldn't even do a turnaround because every time he drops down, Lonzo's going to snatch it from him. Every time he tries to turn, Lonzo's going to drop down off his man and snatch it from him. So you can see him looking for Lonzo. He's doing every little thing, and like he should touch the ball every time. Whether he
And
whether
I
he should
believe that.
he should.
Joel Embiid got so frustrated he almost knocked Lonzo out.
Yo, no, that was a crazy game, man. They was getting
I
cooked by
mean
the game.
but I agree with that. But the thing with Lonzo is, like Magic Johnson said, Lonzo Ball is so smart. He doesn't need the basketball to be effective.
You
That's
really
what
don't.
makes it.
But
That's
you
what
want
makes
the
him
ball in his
great.
hands over a
That's what
non.
makes him great. That's what makes him great because he can be the coach on the court by redirecting the offense to attack the weakest points in the offense. He doesn't need the basketball to do that. He can just direct from the wing or from the top of the key.
He can
You know
direct
what?
long as he's the one
Hold
making
on.
Basically,
the main
Is this
facility.
is this what y'all want
but
though for y'all
I feel
team?
like he should be bringing the ball up. Like,
I
not,
want to ask y'all a
I
question.
want my team. I want my team to win. That's what I
That's
want.
right.
You're not gonna
That's
win
And if
playing
basically,
like
but
that
hold
though.
on, no,
guys. Let
but
Purple
I
Baby
want my
get in
team.
there,
But
guys.
hold on. Let me answer. I want my team to win, right? So if that means basically if Lonzo takes 15 shots for the team to win, so be it. But if he doesn't take,
we're
if
not
he
even
only
talking
takes
about
10,
15
even
shots.
if
We're
he
talking
takes
about
10 or
him being
12,
the main
then
facilitator.
so be it. I just want Lonzo to be his most effective self, and that means that that means if it's 5 assists or if it's 10 assists, as
He
long
should
as
be
we're
averaging
winning.
9 assists.
Hold on, KNT, I'm not finished yet. When I finish, you can go. I just want him to be the most effective self on the court. So that means that if it's 5 assists or if it's 10 assists, I don't care. I want him to be his most effective self, and I want the team to win. I'm all about team success. That's all I'm about, man.
I'm
Fact.
keeping it real with you.
I'm a
Everything we
Bulls fan.
explaining to
I'm a
you
Bull.
is the
The
highest success
difference
fan.
between me
That's
and
the
you
highest
that
success
you're a
rate.
lot. The difference between me and you is you're a Lonzo fan. I'm a team
Not even
fan.
about Lonzo fan. We're talking about. We're not even talking
Okay,
about Lonzo. We're talking about.
We
let me share this
understand
with
this player's
Murgod.
specific skill
Murgod,
set.
how you feel?
We
One second, Nico.
need
Murgod, how you feel when Lonzo has 18 points in the first half, and then all of a sudden he has maybe 0 to 2 points in the second half?
Hey,
What
good.
happened to that? Is it
Awesome.
Lonzo aggression gone, or is other members saying, "Okay, Zoe, you got yours. Now it's time for us to get ours"?
I think it's
No, they
I
did
think
that
it's
to
a
Boots all
mixture.
year long.
Hold on. Let me answer.
Yeah.
Mars. I think it's a mixture of both. Whereas that Alonzo sometimes he does fade away, but in certain circumstances, I do think that DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine should look for him more. But it's a 3 part snake. It's a three-headed
Oh,
snake
I
to that. So
best.
hold on. It's a three-headed snake. Whereas that it's a three-headed snake. Whereas that Billy Donovan should be like, hey, let's get the ball. Let's get the ball to Lonzo. He's hot. Lonzo should be like, hey, pass me the freaking ball. He needs to be assertive, and as well as Zach LaVine and DeMar, other players need to look
Need to
for
get.
him more. So
That's
it's a
right.
three-headed snake to that. It's a three-headed snake. Everyone takes part of the blame to that. Everyone.
Okay.
It's not
Nah,
just
All right,
on
guys.
Lonzo.
I'm just
It's
we're
gonna
not
talking
just
ask you
about
on.
guys
It's
this
not just
question.
on
I'm gonna
DeMar.
ask you guys
It's
this
not just
question.
on
running it.
Billy Donovan. It's on all three
You
of them.
should be quarterbacking this
I'm gonna
thing.
ask you guys now. You guys can say this, and you can say that you said this, but with the Bulls being a half game out of actually Billy Donovan coaching All-Star game, you guys had
I,
these worries on your mind, then, right? Y'all
I
had these worries when
never
they were
had one on
17
my.
games over.
I literally said that they're winning, playing bad basketball right now. They better not
Okay,
get
well,
caught.
hold on. Because see, I went back on Flight's channel.
Yeah, that was my anthem too, KNT.
Wait,
That was
guys,
my
listen.
anthem.
I
I
went
literally
back on
said,
Flight's channel and I listened to the game the last Bulls played on this channel right before the All-Star break. And the majority of the guy, I'm not mentioning no names, but the majority of everybody on this panel was talking about how good the Bulls were. Not
they,
about Lonzo, because Lonzo wasn't even playing then, guys. But the
The Bulls
Bulls
are
were
good. We're
seven.
not saying the Bulls ain't good.
and they,
I
we're
mean,
not
but I'm
we're not gonna
listening to
give
you
them
guys talk
They got
about that y'all knew they was going
they
to lose. Y'all
underperformed.
said,
If you ask
wait,
me,
You said
championship
you guys said that y'all knew they were going to lose
in the
even
play.
before the
And
half
I'm
came.
gonna tell you why.
I said they're gonna be a
I'm gonna tell you
number
why.
4 seed and choking up and be out of the playoffs in 5 or 7
What
visits.
wasn't the sentiment
Exactly what
that
happened.
day on the panel? Because
You
what you
said.
saw in the second half was no Lonzo. So we
Even though
all
I
was on
literally
them.
said that at the beginning of the season, though, with Lonzo, they're going to be a number 4 seed and choke with 5 or 7
They were
bits.
the number
Man,
one seed at the break.
Can I say
don't have a great orchestrator, a
You
lot of
got
times you're gonna
you got
self-destruct.
DeRozan who
And
don't
that's it.
want to play
That's
off
Guys,
ball.
just
Purple
what it
Baby
is.
been
Look at
trying to
what
get in there
happened to
for
the
an hour.
Celtics. Look what happened to the Celtics in the finals. Marcus Smart couldn't handle the responsibility to be a point
thank
guard. The team self-destructed.
you.
That's
Yeah,
the
that's
I'm
same
them.
sorry.
concept that
You
happened to
the
the
point
Bulls.
guard. You
The
see,
Bulls
you
don't
Hold on,
have a
guys.
point guard. They
Let Purple Baby get in,
self-destructed.
guys. Let Purple get in. Go ahead, Purple.
I just want to say this about DeRozan. I think in no way possible that the Bulls are winning as long as DeRozan is your best player. Now, can he be your
I said
second best
that.
player? Yes,
He's
he
not.
I
can. But
agree.
if he's your first best player, you're gonna be a first round exit every time.
Facts. Yeah, I said that. I
Okay,
said
He
but
that.
is,
who said?
he's
But who
answer to
said?
that. He's the
Yeah,
answer to
But
that
you're
puzzle,
asking
baby.
Bulls
He's
I
fans.
said
not
But
the best player. Zach
he's not the
Levine is the
best player.
best player.
he
Zach
need a better
Zach
player
Levine
better
is
than
the best
DeRozan and
player.
Levine.
And
And
with
that's what he
Lonzo on the
and that
floor, I just told you that he took 4 less shots when Lonzo was on the floor,
but you're
and the
missing
Bulls were
something.
winning. The Bulls were winning. Now you
Do
guys
y'all
can say that y'all didn't like the way they were winning, but they were winning.
I, I
let me ask y'all
literally,
a
what are
question
you arguing and agreeing with us?
though. Do y'all
Oh,
think DeRozan is still a star?
You
Yeah,
said
hell yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
All
he's a
Star,
star.
yeah.
what? Like if you give him the ball, he's a star, 1,000. He's Rondo to the Celtics. I don't understand why they don't let him just be Rondo. Just let him be Rondo. That and people don't understand when you play with a player like that, it's actually easier to get your 20 points.
But K and T,
You're not gonna touch the ball.
but K and T. That's the key right there. Lonzo is not a Rondo. He's not a person who's going to dribble the air out the ball.
Nah, Rondo, we
That's not
talking
his
about
game.
championship Rondo. We
That's
talking
not.
about 20 assists, 22 points in the playoff Rondo. You disrespectful. Don't put some respect on Rondo name, man.
No, I'm not. I'm not
Back in his day,
disrespecting
back in his
Rondo.
day.
He
I'm
is acting
talking Lon.
crazy.
No. What you're not getting my point because you're not listening.
I hear
He
what you're
said
saying, but
no,
you
no, no,
saying
no,
that like
no.
he gonna
I'm not
dribble the
saying.
ball, he gonna facilitate. That's what I'm more speaking on. I'm not just speaking
But
on everything,
Rondo
Rondo.
dribbles. But
I'm more speaking
Rondo
on how he can
dribbles more than
facilitate the
Lonzo.
scoring.
Lonzo doesn't. Lonzo is not the type of player. He's never been that player that's just going to dribble, dribble, dribble. Even
Oh
in
no, we
college,
talking about
even in
facilitating.
High
college,
pace,
even
high
in
Out.
college,
pace.
Lonzo was never even if all right. So when you watch prime Chris Paul and Rondo, they're players that basically dribble a lot more than Lonzo. Lonzo's not that player. This is going
Quick
to
passing.
dribble the basketball. He's going to move the ball. That's always been his MO in his game, moving the basketball. The
Yeah,
issue
either
is,
way, but
hold
it
on,
goes back to what
KNT.
I'm saying.
The
You gonna
issue is,
get easy layups and
hold
dunks.
on, KNT. This is the issue. He's always been the player that moves the ball. The issue is the ball doesn't reverse back to him. That's the key. That's the key right there. The ball doesn't reverse back to him because DeMar, Vooch, or Levine is taking a shot. That's all it
Good
And
point.
is.
That's
let
a
me
good
say this
point.
to him too.
That's
Did
all
you
it
know
is.
that did you guys know that the Bulls dropped 6% on field goal percentage when he got hurt? Meaning
Marvin is we
As they should
had
understand
have.
the
he was
ball to the players in
important.
the right spot. So you guys can say that he didn't, but he did. He got
I
He
the
could have
agree.
hit
he
Understand
would
he's
do
more.
not
fast break.
important.
They were the
Like,
best. All right, also they were the best. They were the number one fast break team in the
it's
league
easy
at
to
the
score.
break.
That goes back when he played with the Pelicans, bro. Did you see Zion percentage? Which
Yeah,
when he
that's
was in
what
the
I'm
game,
telling you.
it was
So
like
when you
7.
lose some, so what we trying to tell you,
I,
when you lose something like that, you
all I
gotta
gotta
expect. I mean, I didn't want it to happen, but I knew it was. We were not gonna be as good.
y'all don't got
We
no.
lost.
You know
I'm
what?
not listen. I'm not saying we laying our hat all only on Lonzo Ball. I'm not saying that. But in this offense, he is such a key that it will show you the difference from when he played
When
and
he
when he
got
didn't.
all them other dudes got hurt, they let him facilitate the offense, and it was the best brand of basketball they played all season.
Yeah. I
Hey,
And
mean,
the,
but
all I'm
Because
saying is
that
this.
was because that
the
was
Randys
because
though, they was
that was
GD
and
players. The
hold on,
Randy,
KNT.
I probably could have
KNT. Now
played for
let me
them.
explain. Now let me explain. That was because certain key players was out, so Lonzo took on the mantle and being like,
Yeah, I
all
know
right,
that,
we're
but the
gonna
fact
run.
that you've
Hold on,
seen
hold
it,
on. Let me say,
yeah,
hold on, KNT, okay, now let you talk. Let me talk. He took on the mantle and being like, all right, we're gonna run these offense through me, opposed to throwing Zach or DeMar because they're out. So he took on the mantle of that. So let me explain this. Let me break this down to you because Rico said this before that the offense probably would have looked like that if DeMar DeRozan would never have came. But since DeMar DeRozan had came, Lonzo himself sacrificed some of his shots that he would have took if DeMar DeRozan wasn't there
yeah, I agree with
to be
that.
able to help the team out. That's all it
Yeah,
is right there.
I agree with
Lonzo
that,
And
Lonzo
see,
ha- Lonzo
and
has
it's
the
and
capability
that
to
goes
go
back
out
to
and
the
put a hold
basics.
on.
Yeah,
Lonzo has the capability to put up 15 shots a game. It's just that he doesn't want to because he has other players that are going to do that for him. So he's going to do what he can on the team, being a great glue guy for the team. Even though I think he can
yeah,
be, even though I think he's an all-star caliber player, he's going to be a great glue guy for the team. to make everything work. That's just the type of
They
personality
don't think he's an
and
all-star.
selfishness that Lonzo
And
has. That's
realistically,
what he is.
and
It
realistically,
is what it
if he
is.
shoots the ball 10.9 times a game, how many more shots you want him to have? Ken?
We're not even speaking on shots. We're not even worried about the shots. We just speaking on he should be the main. He should be the driver in that.
Okay, but wait a minute. When
Can I-
the
can I
reason
get
I'm
in
speaking
on
on
here a
He
shots
should
little
be the
is because of
maestro.
his skill.
That's all we're
Listen,
saying. In short, he
all
should
right,
be the
okay, but let me
maestro.
say this. Why wouldn't you
Can I
want
get in there a little bit,
your
though?
most highest percentage shooter shooting the ball? He shot the ball at the best
The
clip.
crazy part is the fact that he don't
Marvin, I
even
don't
do
think
that,
we're arguing
bro.
that point.
That's not even his main thing, and he's forfeiting the league in it. Is crazy. He's not even
All
being
right,
used
so you
right.
wanted him to have more assists. Is that what you guys are saying?
He should
Nah,
have more
can I
assists.
say
Just
something about the play style?
orchestrate. A maestro, Marvin. You know what a maestro is? Come on
But
now.
Dex,
Okay,
but
okay.
Can I
Dex,
And
say
he just
something
but
explained to
Lonzo
you
play
guys
style?
about the offense, the way it's ran. He just explained to you guys
Dex, you
about the
have
way the
to.
offense is
Oh
run.
shit! Everybody's having an episode. You know what happens when everybody have an episode?
But Dex, you have to realize, Dex,
Nah, I just
that
want
I
to
do
get in there a
agree
little
that.
bit.
Hold on. I'll just go after me real quick.
Y'all know what happens
Stop
when
Rico.
everybody start having
Stop Rico.
episodes.
So
Because
this
I
is
wanna have
this is the
mine.
issue right. This is the issue right here. So
I don't
I
think I.
get it, Dex, that you want Lonzo to be the maestro, but you forget that he's the type of two players he's playing with. The player that would have helped him out with the assist is Vucevic, and he was playing like garbage last season. With
Early.
DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine, those two are dribble rhythm players. What does it sound, man?
That's Dex put the music on.
I
Yeah,
see.
when everybody start having episodes, this is what we do now, Murguy. You've been gone too long.
Oh my gosh, man.
Keep talking. Just calm you down a little bit. Trust me.
I mean, but
I
still,
do
even
want to
though
get in there a little bit.
even though basically Lonzo was basically going, doing his thing, it's just that when you have DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine, they pretty much they're dribble rhythm players. So when Lonzo passes it to them in spots, they can shoot. They usually pump fake and basically take like two or three dribbles to get into their shot. So they dribble out a lot of his assists. That's just how it is on a basketball team.
Yeah, and I'm just curious to ask you guys, would a
Can I get in
team
there
that
before you do that?
consists of Lonzo Ball, DeMar DeRozan, Vooch, and Zach LaVine, where exactly do you want him? I need to know, because I'm lost to the fact what y'all want him to do.
Okay, when you pass the ball, that should be Lonzo.
Let me finish, Canty. Let me finish, Canty. When he was playing, before he got hurt, he was on pace to be the defensive player of the year.
Word.
I hope y'all do know that, right? Right.
I never heard that.
He was on pace.
They wouldn't have
leading the league in
Yes, he
steals.
was, Purple Baby.
He was
Don't do that,
leading the
Purple
league
Baby.
in steals. He was leading the league in steals. He was leading the league in 3-point percentage the day he got hurt.
And he was leading all guards with blocks.
Facts.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So what I'm asking from you guys is, I mean, I name these players again. With Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Vooch, and him, what else y'all want him to do? I'm lost.
I don't like y'all so focused on scoring.
Right. We talking about maestro.
Y'all so focused on trying to find something wrong. You so focused on trying to find something wrong.
No, we're not, Marvin. Marvin, listen, let me tell you guys where Marvin's at. Hold on one second, everybody. Hold on one second. Marvin is at the point where if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But he don't see where it's broken at.
Okay, tell me where it was broke. They were 17 games over. Where was it broke?
He needs to have the ball in his hands making the decisions. Nobody else.
That's not the way the offenses ran, Dex.
Well, they need to change that because when Zoe ran the offense, hold on one second, Marvin. When Zoe ran the offense, they came out to shoot with no chemistry and was 9-0.
I know that. They lost one game.
With those type of players?
All right, well, let me say this.
I want to break this down.
They lost one game, and you say everything changed. They went 5-6, 5 out of 6 after that one loss. What changed?
I want to.
Well, what changed was they went to a
season.
What changed was they went to another dynamic, right? And I'm going by what DeMar. Listen, I'm using DeMar's own statement against DeMar. DeMar said he put the team on his back. He didn't say
Nobody
that
asked
we
him to do
became
that.
more of a team. He said he didn't like what he saw on that New York game, so he inherited the spirit of Michael Jordan and put the team on his back. That's what DeMar said. Now
I'm sorry,
you
they didn't
challenge
win
him.
He
4 out of
had
5. They
no
won
business.
they won 3 out of 5. They didn't win 4 out of 5. I'm sorry. But I mean, you're looking for you drawing straws
I'm
here,
only
guys.
going by what DeMar said, even
Can
though
I
I
explain
knew
the
that
play
would
style?
happen. DeMar turned into Superman.
Yeah,
You follow what I'm saying? Zach was dealing with his finger injury, so Zach couldn't really fight DeMar off. So there was nobody there to fight DeMar off, and he just ran with it.
show him where
Okay,
I'm at.
I believe this is going more on the sentiment of what have you done for me lately.
Hold
The
on,
last
real
time you
quick,
guys
Mark.
seen the Bulls, you
Hold on,
lose.
I understand where I'm at. Before you just keep going in the loop and then asking me later the same thing, I'm gonna get you where I'm at. You know what I'm saying?
Can I button here sometime?
Hold on real quick. Hold on real quick, Nico.
That nigga been waiting.
I know. I'm
Yeah, I
gonna
mean,
throw
KNT, I think you should let Nico go first, then you,
Yeah, he
because
really
Nico been
have.
waiting for a
You
while.
asked me the question. I want to answer it. Dex jumped in on me right before I
But
answered.
Nico,
Nico.
but I think Nico been waiting for a while, man.
Yeah, that's what I said, Nico. I'm gonna slide it to
Oh
Nico.
I did
shit!
ask him a question. I
It
did
sounds
ask him
like
a question.
episodes.
Right now, I
What
want
happens with episodes?
hold on real quick. Just let me finish, and I'm gonna throw it to Nico to answer your question, Marvin. So you know what we mean by maestro, right?
What's that?
No, anyway. So, but I know what I know. It's the music. It's what I'm speaking on about maestro, right? Listen, he should be like when we first pass the ball in, he should be making the decisions from the rip. Like once he, and you should be
Yes.
and another thing too, all their shooting percentages will go up because they're going to be getting way easier shots instead of passing out of double teams.
They were.
No, they wasn't. We watched it.
He got hurt. They went down.
We're not even talking about winning. We're talking about how they're winning. You're too much focused on the record. You're not actually looking at the actual thing. You know what I'm saying?
He's being lenient right now.
We literally hold on.
In the NBA Finals, what wins the finals? 4 games or 1 game?
What are you?
Since you don't want to deal with numbers. Since you don't want to deal with numbers.
Yo, you just be jumping so much away from where I'm trying to get you to. Like,
No, I'm not. You're
you're
trying
nowhere.
to avert me to saying that because they were 17 games over, that wasn't winning basketball. You can't make me believe that.
KNT, I feel
You
like I
can't
can
make
help
me
here.
believe
Yo,
that.
I can't. Yo, go ahead, Nico.
I feel like I can help here because right now, you know, I understand you're a Bulls fan, so you're isolated purely on what they're able.
I'm not the only one. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying you're isolated on purely on what they were able to do as a team, but the way that we're trying to come at you is allowing you to understand the best that y'all was doing was not good basketball, and not even in you being 17 games above 500, were you even comparable to a championship team, even with you using Lonzo Ball at what you think is his possible best capacity for your team. It's not even close. What we want for that team to use Lonzo Ball as is a player that is the primary decision maker in helping that team win. The way that you guys were using that player, he was making some plays, maybe out the wing, maybe passed on a couple corner shots, but that's not Lonzo Ball. Like he's not his best self playing the way that you guys used him.
Yeah, they
when Murdoch was saying that, I can feel
Answer that. I just told you he was in the top 5 in
That's not good. He could be
steals.
higher.
He was leading. Okay, what else do you see? That's why I asked you guys what else you want. You said, wait,
You need to go look up the word maestro because you dancing all around that word.
Like I told you, y'all drawing straws. Y'all want him to be God.
No,
see, that's what you think we want.
Hold on.
That's what you saying.
Marvin, let me.
Where is he at right now? I don't even.
He's leading the league in 3 categories, and that ain't good enough.
Here we go.
No,
y'all acting a fool.
Now I was just gonna say, could I finish it? Because it's all wrapped in the point that Lonzo Ball, of course, he's playing well for your team. He's a good player, but the level that y'all are crediting him for is still below average for what he's able to do on the basketball court. Y'all are isolating him for small things that he's good at, but he's even better at a lot of shit that y'all are not allowing him to do.
He's not the only one on the court. That's not true.
Then you need to tell DeMar that, not Lonzo.
Lonzo don't play like that. DeMar
and I'll go right back to the sentiment of what
So,
Dex just said. You talking about Dex without Lonzo. That's what you remember, Dex. That's exactly what you remember.
Well, no, we talked about it with he was doing that with Lonzo. What are you talking about?
With Lonzo.
So
He was
I know he
averaging.
gave
I just
Lonzo
told
that shot against Brooklyn. He did give Lonzo that assist against Brooklyn when he threw the ball out and Lonzo hit that shot.
I mean,
We give DeMar credit for that. But that was a forced thing because James Harden, he just got stuck in sand,
8
quicksand.
Olympics before that.
okay, and the next game he got hurt, Dex. It was Golden State.
But either way,
All I'm
if
saying is
Lonzo,
He
this.
got hurt.
Dak
I'm
and
not
Lonzo got hurt
knocking
at the
you
same
guys.
time.
listen, if
I
Lonzo's
know
on
it.
your team,
Yeah,
he's
Zach LaVine got hurt in the Brooklyn game. He got hurt in the Golden State game.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Lonzo's
So
touching the
all
ball.
I'm saying is
So
this:
hold on quick,
I'm
Dex.
not
Hold on
knocking
quick,
you
Dex.
guys. I'm not knocking you guys' takes on this. Don't believe me. I understand the Bulls didn't play well, but to say we could do better or he could do more, yes, I know that. I figure he could.
But
I think
Marvin,
he
you
was
dancing. See, Marvin, we're not accepting that because
Hold
that's
on.
a
Right back to
that's a weak assessment. You're
Dex, I
dancing
got a question
around
for
the
you.
fact that DeMar DeRozan said he inherited Michael Jordan's spirit and
That
put the
meant
team on his
nothing,
back. What
man.
do that mean?
That meant nothing, Dex. That meant
He
nothing.
just wants to
But
win. That's all.
let
But
if we look, if we didn't even
It's
take that,
Murdoch and Marvin. Oh my God.
this is something
Nothing.
real
But
quick.
Dex,
I don't
Dex,
understand
I
why you
got
even
the
bring that up.
listen, Dex. I have the offense on video right here with no sound. Can I play it in the background or no? Do I got permission to play it?
Oh, you got to ask Flight for that. I can't give you that permission. Flight's on here. Ask him.
He ain't here right now. I mean,
Yeah,
so
he
that's
is.
why I asked you
I
since you
just saw
texted.
him.
Flight,
Flight, you here?
you in there?
Well, look, I do want to say this while y'all figured it out. The thing is, when it comes to Lonzo Ball, understandably, the way that he's performing in the offense is well for how they're using him. But we have to start talking about this. That team did become two-player basketball
Yeah.
for a majority of the season. Like right after they hit a stride and maybe had like DeRozan had a decent game or Zach LaVine had a decent game, them dudes kept looking to replicate those performances throughout the entire season. And they said, fuck everybody else.
Yeah.
Lonzo Ball's always going to make the right play. Allowing him to do more is allowing him to make the right plays more. He's not going to take more shots. I don't give a fuck about his shot attempts. But putting the ball in his hand, he's always going to do the right thing a majority of the time. Basketball is not even a high percentage thing. Only thing that's high percentage is layups. Everything
So
else
what
is
is
50
Lonzo?
or below.
What is Lonzo Ball on the Bulls? The number one option, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Maestro, Marvin, stop
number
playing
4.
games.
No,
No, he said, what is
Like,
he now?
listen,
He
Marvin,
just mentioned that he had two guys that was scoring the most points. I'm asking him, what was Lonzo Ball's role? The number one
He was
option,
number 4.
2.
Touch the ball sometimes.
So what is you talking about?
That's not good.
Right,
He needs
that's
to
not
touch the ball
good. He should
majority of
be
the
a
time.
maestro.
God.
He should
I
be.
told
He
you
should be. He should
y'all
direct
want
the
God.
orchestra.
Marvin, go ahead.
I'll
Go
put it
ahead,
like
Marvin.
this.
Y'all want him to be God.
Oh
I'm
shit! Here
looking,
we go.
Marvin.
Here we go.
Hold on,
Y'all won't act right.
Offense, right?
Real
I'm
quick,
looking at
Murdoch,
the
because I
offense
want
right
you to
now.
respond to this, Murdoch, because you were saying what I was saying that's not a good thing when it came to Draymond and Lonzo. Draymond Green should not be handling the basketball more than Lonzo Ball, but he does. That's not good.
It doesn't. How do you even think that?
He really doesn't, but I mean,
I mean,
but
because he
listen,
does.
I'm looking at the offense that Billy Donovan is running right now, and the point guard is making all the decisions on where he wants to go to with the basketball. He's making the direct decision.
Maybe
on,
that
all right,
game that you got queued up, but not for
And
the
the
duration
game
of the
that you
season.
guys talking about is
listen,
just
I'm
one
looking
game
at
too,
the
guys.
Dex,
We
I'm
literally
looking at the
mentioned the whole
offense.
season.
This is the offense that Billy Donovan runs with 5 horn set, double horn set, everything. Where the point guard makes the decision where he wants to go with the basketball.
Well,
But
he
it's
need to
not a
change.
heavy.
Yeah,
But it's not. But Dex, what you have to realize, it's not a heavy pick and roll offense, and it's not an offense where Lonzo is just going to be getting into the lane all the time to be able to draw and kick and
Okay,
assist.
Murdoch.
But
Okay,
if he passes it on the wing and he drives, he can do that.
I'm gonna have to challenge you on this one
Go ahead,
because
man.
when Alonzo was out, wasn't there a lot of pick and roll with Kobe White and Vooch?
Yes.
The Bulls were ranked 15th in pick and roll.
Please answer that question.
Also, I'm gonna just throw this out here too. Lonzo Ball played the most minutes of his career for the Bulls and had the second lowest usage percentage of his career. That's not good.
Because he's not a high usage
because he's on the
player.
team.
Let Murdoch answer that question, please.
You guys acting like Can y'all see
Dex.
DeMar
Oh
DeRozan
boy.
and Zach
Let me
Levine?
break
Do
down.
y'all know
Let me
they
break
on
down.
the
This
team?
won't
I
stop.
don't like it.
I mean, listen to what he just said. Do you know that DeMar DeRozan and Zach Levine is on this team? What are you saying?
I'm just waiting on Murgod to come back with an answer about this pick and roll stuff.
Lonzo Ball did run pick and roll where Vooch hit the shot.
Yes,
What are you
he
talking
did.
about?
Okay,
Vooch
but
missed
you
shots.
said, but Murgod, you said with that Horn offense, it wasn't much pick and roll designed. So I'm saying when Lonzo was out, I saw a lot of pick and roll with
It's not always
Vooch and Kobe White.
You
It's
say
not like
more.
I
You mean more.
Like I specified, it's not always a bunch of pick and roll with the point guard in the offense. Kobe Wright didn't run that much pick and roll either. He was mainly a spot up shooter.
No, with Vooch he did. Remember, they had a
He
good
did run-
combination going.
Not that very
Vooch and Lonzo ran just as much pick and roll, if not more than Kobe. The
Okay.
issue is that Vooch didn't hit shots.
That's
But
true.
What I'm saying,
I agree with that.
But
And
what
more
I
pick and
specified
roll.
is that. But I specified that this offense, I mean, like my Marvin said, because I gave the stat for that. That this offense was only 15th in the league when it came to pick and roll. They weren't a high
Yeah.
pick and roll team like that.
I mean, it's designed like that, Dex.
You know?
Also,
But the difference,
That's what we're
remember,
saying. You need to
he only
undesign that.
okay. I understand what you're
Dex,
saying,
but Dex, you have to realize that. But I don't mean to cut you off, Marvin. But Dex, you have to realize that unfortunately, that Billy Donovan, he had high pick and roll offenses when he used Chris Paul and Westbrook. He's not doing that. He's just not doing that with Lonzo. Now, I agree. Should he do it more? Yes.
well, let me
I
tell him
agree with
yes.
that. But the thing is, though, that's just the difference between them. Lonzo's Ball, you know, he may not view him as that kind of player he wants to do all the time with pick and roll.
No, here's the
That's
deal.
all I'm saying.
What's in the offense wasn't in the offense last year, Dex, is what I told you guys earlier on the panel, was Patrick Williams. That was our main pick and roll. He played 5 total games with Patrick Williams last year. 5. That was predicated on a lot of our offense. Now you will see a more pick and roll if they both healthy and on the floor this year. They only played 117 minutes total in their career on the NBA floor.
Listen,
together.
I understand a little bit of why they kind of went away from it, according to what Murgod was saying, because Vooch was not hitting those shots early on, but he seemed to catch a rhythm with Kobe White. For some reason, good or bad, he was more effective with Kobe White than he was with Lonzo, because Lonzo was giving the ball and he would miss little bunnies, and it was frustrating to watch. So I can understand them kind of fading away from it a little bit. But what I'm saying, coming in this year, how they started last season should be the same way they pursue this season, but hold on and keep it for the duration of the season. Don't run away from it.
And I agree. I agree totally. What they did in the preseason and in those first 4 or 5 games of the regular season was magnificent. We all know that. And it was flowing offense. But if you realize what they really was doing, Dex, they were the best fast-paced team in the fast break team in the league. They were getting high percentage shots, very high percentage shots. You know why? Now, I'm just going to tell you, Lonzo Ball. And did you know? And let me tell you this. Did you know the day he got hurt, the Bulls were second in the league in fast break points. When he got hurt, we went to 11. This is why I'm telling you how important he was to this team. But then you guys say, well, he could have did more. We were at our...
No, we're not saying he could have did more by himself. We're saying with adjustments, like just what Thunder just said. Billy Donovan, for the last 10 interviews, we need to make adjustments. Make no adjustments.
Well, now I can say that truthfully. I can say that truthfully, and I agree with you guys totally. But that's Billy Donovan. That was he did not coach that after Lonzo got hurt well at all. He didn't use the players properly. If you think about it, though, there were so many players playing out of position because of injury, including Javonte Green starting at the 4 for almost 30 games, include Ayo Dosunmu starting at the point. He played the most games of the Bulls last night at a rookie, 76 games. He played more than
one
DeRozan.
game more than DeRozan, yes.
Yeah, he played more than DeRozan. So these things to me, come in factor more than the deficiencies, because the deficiencies that you guys are bringing up when the fool was, I mean, and the team, another thing, the team never was 100%, because at the first game of the season, Kobe was out, to the last game of the season that Lonzo was out. We never had a full squad. Never, not one game.
But Marvin, only thing I'm saying is this. I said when I start noticing the Bulls winning, playing bad basketball, and the reason why I called it bad basketball, even though they was winning, is because it wasn't too much ball sharing, and a lot of the people that's on the bench was minutiae in their effectiveness. You follow what I'm saying? And you cannot win in the playoff if your backups is lacking. And they're not getting the opportunity to really showcase themselves because only 2 or 3 players is shooting the ball. Everybody else got to get it how you live.
Okay, Dex, and you want to call out those players that you're referring to, like Tony Bradley and Troy Brown Jr.? They were inconsistent. And then Kobe White was up and down. Even though a lot of people talk about Kobe White, he actually shot the ball better this past season than in his whole career. Now, it didn't look like it, but his percentages was higher than ever in his career. But this was due to injuries. Listen, Javonte Green is not a 4. He was out there the whole season trying to play 4. And we wasn't getting no more than 6 points a game out of him. That's it. Patrick Williams didn't play, guys. He was only 17 games. I'm not saying he's a world beater, but 2 bodies are better than 1, is what I'm saying. Derrick Jones Jr., he played a lot of center because of Tony Bradley, his inability to play. That was a mismatch. The Bulls played a lot of small ball last year. And the key to me to this whole thing is, including everybody talking about how bad Vooch played. He didn't play bad last year. He wasn't 100. He played real bad in the first half, but he came on in the second half. But the loss of Lonzo Ball, it messed up the chemistry. It messed up a lot of things. And it wasn't just that. It was injuries all the way down the line. Zach was banged up. Caruso missed 32 games. Javonte Green missed, I think, 15. Derrick Jones Jr. missed 16. I mean, and then you got to push these other players into positions that this offense wasn't designed to do. It makes it look bad. And then to compound that, second half of the season was brutal. It was the toughest in the NBA. So we suffered.
And this is why I was saying it goes back to me. This is just my perspective as a player and as a coach. When they didn't play that game against Detroit when it could have, the Detroit Pistons didn't ask for a reprieve. They didn't request no reprieve. You know who did it? The team that was supposed to be at the top, which was deplorable to me. For them to request a reprieve, but Detroit don't request one, yet the NBA did grant them that reprieve, and they had to cancel that Detroit game. I understand up there in Toronto, that game probably was going to get canceled anyway because they weren't going to let that organization go up there with the chemtrail of COVID-19 following them. I understand that. But that Detroit game should have been played. It would have put a lot of confidence in the head of the players who normally don't play, would have played, and that could have gave them momentum and confidence when those injuries start to build up. They would already had a full game to assess and confident when they played that Detroit Pistons. That's where I'm talking about. Even though they did good after that, but I'm telling you, as a sports player, when you don't have those moment games where a coach can reflect and use that game as a catapult to a rally call, the Bulls didn't have no game like that because either DeMar played or Zach played. You follow what I'm saying? But that was the one game that neither one of them was going to play in the Bull Cop Chicken. They ate Chiefs. I'm not going to take that back. And there's no way they should have called the NBA and asked for a reprieve. No way. Not against Detroit. Now, if they was playing Brooklyn, Boston, Philly, Miami, okay, yeah, I'll give you that. You know what I'm saying? You just can't let them just beat you half to death and have that under their resume, and they can go to their locker room and always look at that. Look what we did to them people. So we see them in the playoffs, they ain't got nothing for us. You follow what I'm saying? I understand that. But Detroit, the bottom of the best, and you're going to call the NBA and ask, man, please hold this game, stop it. We don't want to play. No. Please help us, NBA. Please help us. That was
No, Dex.
deplorable.
Have you ever went back and looked at the game right before that when we played Miami? How many players played for us? It was one day. It was a back-to-back game that was supposed to be played that we canceled, and we lost 2 in a row on the road. One at Cleveland and one. The last one was at Miami. Have you looked at the
Because
players
you guys
we had
already
for the
asked for the
season?
reprieve. You guys already
But
burnt your reprieve
we
up
had
for Detroit.
8.
You could
We
have
only
said that
had
for
8.
Miami.
We had 8 players, Dex. It wasn't
Did you just
healthy
hear what
for
I
the
just said,
team.
Marvin?
It wasn't healthy.
You burnt up your request for a reprieve for a freaking lowly Detroit team who had no ambition of winning. They were just trying to get some highlights for ESPN. That's the only thing they was playing the game for. And you guys burnt a reprieve for that. You can't go back and ask for another reprieve because you play in Miami. They don't work that
well,
way.
let me say this. You know, every team asked for a reprieve in this past season, and they were not all granted. You know that, right? You do know that, right?
You asked for Detroit. You're not hearing me.
It was only granted to the teams that were undermanned in such a way that it was harmful to the team.
But they could have played. That's what I'm telling you. They could have played that game.
I understand.
And it's only Detroit. It wasn't like it was a. Dave said, "Dex, you capping right now." It wasn't like it was against Phoenix, Golden State, Dallas, or something like that. It was Detroit.
It was a game. It was
and
a
Dave
game.
Don't like me saying Detroit like that.
What I'm getting
Dave,
at
you know that Detroit was boo boo. You know that, Dave.
It wasn't the fact that it was going to be a hard team. It was the fact that it was going to be harmful to the team in general. Meaning,
No,
if anything happened, we had guys out on COVID.
You had Lonzo. You had Derrick Jones Jr. I think you had Devontae Green. You had still some
7 guys out on COVID that game. Dex,
I understand that, but I'm naming players that was available to play.
Well, this is what I'm telling you. If anything happens, the guys on COVID cannot come back. If anything happens, we are down to 7 players. You can't play.
Listen, do you understand where I'm coming from? You keep trying to kick the can down the road. I'm saying it was Detroit. It don't matter. Play the game.
They're not going to play a dangerous game.
Ain't no dangerous game.
When you don't have enough players.
Listen, Cade Cunningham, Lonzo Ball. You had Sadiq Bey. You had Sadiq Bey and Vooch. They had a good matchup there.
Marvin, you're not going to argue with Dex on this because Dex, he unfortunately he already came out and said it that he's being selfish and thinking because he wanted Lonzo to go off again. That's all.
That's true.
Play by itself.
Yes, it's a little selfishness in that, but it's also from a coach perspective, Murgod, that you need that type of statement game that you can call back on your team to garner up some inner strength that you played and won a game, regardless of who it was, without your 2 best players. And that was a game that they could have used that on. And plus, that was a game to show for Lonzo and Vooch that you guys are capable of making this happen.
But he also can use the next game to garner when they are playing against the best players on the team. And they had a team there and they were playing against a top level team, such as the Brooklyn Nets at the time. Then basically they can show that they can fight through adversity when Lonzo hit that shot. They can use different games.
No, not that game.
No, Dex, they can use different games for motivation. They don't have to just use a game versus the Pistons. And I agree that if you only have 6 players as available, because some of the players are not, so you don't have that many players as available.
8 or 9, I think.
And everybody's getting sick one by one. Yeah, I will put in that request too.
No, but see, Murgod, this is what I disagree at because the game was already slated to play. You follow what I'm saying? It was already slated to play. They both qualified to play a game. Detroit had people out too, but they had a couple of good people in, like Sadiq Bey, Sabian Lee. They had Cade Cunningham. You follow what I'm saying? I don't think Isaiah Stewart was available, and I don't think Grant was available. Right? So it was kind of an evenly matched game, and they should just went on and played that game. Even though when they rescheduled, the Bulls did win. They won it. You know what I'm saying? But they won it with their players available. I'm saying play a game where you can look like you're underdog, undermanned, you're struggling to get across the finish line, and you win that game. That's your Rudy moment. And I don't think the
But
Bulls
Dex,
took advantage of that.
how far would that have taken them, Dex?
That part I
Is
can't
the
say
reward
because you
greater?
never
All
know
right,
when
here's
you
a
need.
question. All right, here's a question. Was the reward greater than the risk?
Oh yeah, most definitely, most
I don't
definitely.
think so. I don't think
No,
so,
this is
Dex.
why I'm gonna say that because listen, Marvin. Remember I said as a coach, this is not the selfish part of me. As a coach, you're gonna be in a situation where you need to rally the guys. Right now, I don't know how rah Donovan is or whatever, or who's on that coaching staff is rah. Maybe it's Lucas. That you can pull out of the air this moment and rekindle a fire in the guys. You know what I'm saying? Because during an 82 game season, these guys get a little weary. They get a little tired because things are tedious. Game in, night in. You know what I'm saying? They get a little tedious. But at certain moments in the season or in the playoff, you can come back and reflect on one of these type of moments where they was undermanned, they was tired, they looked like it was over with. We was COVID stricken, injury riddled, but we played a team and we beat the crap out of that team on their floor. And glory to the Bulls. You follow what I'm saying?
All right, Dex, let me just say this before you continue on. The game before the game you're talking about, this was the Bulls starting lineup. Troy Brown Jr., Vooch, Lonzo Ball, Caruso, and Levine. Their bench had Afonso McKinney, Tyler Cook, Alize Johnson, Tony Bradley, Dotson, and Simonovic. They were not playing that game, Dex, for the very reason that they were down to wits' end. Troy Brown Jr. was their starting small forward at the time.
Marvin, you named 11 players. When do
I
you
know
call quits when you
because
have 11 players
they
available?
called them up. They called all these guys. All right, let
It
me name
doesn't
them all.
matter. It's 11 players.
But Dex, come on, Dex.
Detroit.
Dex.
Damn, you got the same
Marvin, you're
mindset
not
as the Bulls.
You keep saying Detroit.
Dex. Marvin, you're not going to argue with Dex at this point, man. Just let it lie, man.
But
Dex
We
has
just
his
okay,
want
opinion.
okay,
Dex
then
has
listen.
his
flight in the
opinion.
stream.
Dex has his opinion on
But
basically,
but
as far as
Murdoch,
the
come
I
on,
team.
Murdoch, you
understand the
can't counsel
importance
me
that he
out like
felt that
that.
game. I understand
You
the
Okay.
telling me the
importance.
Bulls had 11 players available and they still call quits?
No, they
I would
just
have.
called those
Kobe was
guys
running rap.
up.
They were putting in that quest the day before to cancel that stuff, man.
But they still
For
have
the league.
players eligible to be called up, like Marvin just said.
Yeah, they called them
Even
up.
still,
That
Because
didn't mean they
Detroit
had
didn't
to.
call quits.
Even still, man, they weren't. They weren't the only team. But if you're getting on the
They
Bulls, the
had no
Bulls were the only
confidence. Just
team.
keep it 100. They had no confidence in Lonzo. They had no confidence in
What did
Vooch.
that mean in the season? What
No,
did that
man.
mean in the season? Is why
I'm
I'm
sure they
asking you
have
that.
confidence in the team, Dex.
They got all the confidence in Lonzo, but
They
I'm
couldn't
asking
have if
Dex.
they called
So what
quits.
did that
Detroit didn't
mean?
call quits.
So what did that mean in the season, and what are you getting at?
I'm saying that game, I'm not talking about the season. That game, Detroit was going to play with their roster because they had COVID situation as well. Now, they might
Okay.
not have been as worse as the Bulls, but they still had some players that was out. And at the same time, they was ready to play. Kay Cunningham came suited and booted.
So you saying the Bulls should have played the game for morale purposes?
Yes, that's the key word. I'm glad you used that term, morale. Yes, they should have played it based on morale. That was their Rudy moment.
Now
Yes.
I can agree with you in a sense on that. In other words, and your sentiment is more, you really wanted Lonzo Ball to be the center of attention, and he would have been. I agree with you on that.
Him and Kay Cunningham. Remember, Kay Cunningham was on the other end, and
Yeah,
Kay Cunningham. Yeah, it would have been a good matchup. It would have been a nice, exciting game. We would have had something to watch, and I'm quite sure the Bull fans would agree. I mean, even they were shocked that their team called quits, not Detroit. Like they was afraid to play the Detroit Pistons, and they had Lonzo and Vooch.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say this, and if you want to, we can move on. I just want to remind everybody to the fact that I said this earlier, and a lot of guys say no, they didn't. Go back and listen to the episode right before the All-Star break when the Bulls played and see what people are saying then. Now, they saying now that everybody was talking about the Bulls wasn't going to do this and do that. There were quite a few people on that panel talking about the Bulls winning, even coming close to getting to the Eastern Conference Finals.
No,
Now, mind you, that might not have been you. I don't think I heard you on that panel, matter of fact. It might not have been you. But, okay, I'm going to ask you then, Purple Baby. When the Bulls pulled in the All-Star break, 17 games on under. You said they're going to be a 6 seed?
Yep.
Okay. All right. I can agree with that because I don't know if you did or not.
I
But
don't
I
know.
did.
Purple Baby
I
might
was
be
on
having an
somebody
episode
else.
right now.
No, I was on somebody else's stream and I said that. SB, matter of fact, he can tell you.
Okay, well, what was your reasoning of saying that if they 17 games over?
Because the real reason was because I don't rock with Derozan like that. And I still feel like that to this day, you go nowhere but exiting out the first round with Derozan as your best player.
Okay.
That don't
All right.
mean
Well,
he's not a
we can end
star.
it. We can end it by saying this:
Yeah.
if the Bulls are healthy with DeMar DeRozan, they will get out of the first round this year coming up.
I bet you they won't. Nope. I bet you they don't.
You know, I ain't betting no woman, but I'm just letting you know.
Nah, they
But
ain't.
okay, all right. Bulls even better than they were last year. This year, sweetie, healthy, they even better than a whole lot of people believe.
But Brooklyn stand together, so.
We beat Brooklyn twice last year with that team.
No, you didn't. Ben Simmons didn't play.
Oh well, yeah, you're right. They didn't have Ben Simmons.
And they
Okay,
had what?
there's a question.
Harden,
How much is Ben
Irving?
Simmons going to give him, guys? How much is Ben Simmons going to give Brooklyn?
Probably 14 points.
Not
Between
much.
14 and 18.
Shoot,
I
that's
think
if
it's
he
gonna be
even,
14.
that's if he even plays, man.
And rebounding. He'll
Yeah,
be
that's
out
what I
there.
was going to ask. Is he ready to play, guys?
Shit,
Yes,
don't seem
he is.
don't seem like it.
He's cleared. He's ready to play. The best
Don't
guy
seem
in the
like
chat, he can tell you he's ready.
Don't seem like it. I
Well,
don't
wait a minute,
trust Ben
guys. Hold on.
Simmons.
Let me ask this question because everybody's been riding Brooklyn for getting knocked out of the first round. Now, all of us, since they're going back to the team, they favorites to win the damn championship. I don't understand this from everybody.
9-1 favorite. That's what Vegas got him at.
Hold
Vegas
on,
got
well,
him
let
at
me say this.
9-1
Let me say
favorite.
this.
I
Let me say this. Let me say this.
They got a
I think
Kevin
it should be. Go ahead.
I mean, they got a
I'm
Kevin
just
Durant,
lost.
man. Like Marvin, there's no other way to argue it. They got a Kevin Durant. Anytime
Okay,
you have
well,
a
let me
Kevin
tell them
Durant,
this. Let me
you got
tell
a chance to
everybody
win,
this.
man.
They were favored last year until he got hurt, if y'all don't remember.
And they shouldn't have been.
Yeah, I mean, that's the
They
point,
were in
man.
first. Okay, let me address Purple
Marvin.
Baby. Hold on one second, G. I'm just gonna tell her something and you can go. They were in first place, sweetie, 32-14 the day he got hurt.
I know that. You ain't telling me.
So all right, so you were talking about them too. They wasn't playing well either. They were in first place.
Boston and Milwaukee was injured at the beginning of the season, and Boston in particular wasn't playing good team basketball.
How many games did Tatum miss last year? How many games did Tatum miss last year?
I don't know if it was
He
Tatum
was
that was
not
injured.
hurt no more than 5 games, baby.
Okay, but I understand that whoever was hurt at the beginning of the season affected their play. I don't know who it
Didn't KD
was.
miss like 12 games in a row, and they lost like 9 of them?
Lost 11 games in a row. He missed 24.
Oh, he missed 24 straight?
Yes.
Okay. Well, what you expect him to do?
That's all I'm trying to say. Everybody, and now he was back in the playoffs, but we all know he was not 100%. And I'm not using that for excuse, but he wasn't.
I think he lost a step. That's all.
You do know he averaged 30 points a game in the playoffs, right?
Yeah, that don't mean he didn't.
So what
lose
step did he lose? What step did he might have lost it off?
I think Kyrie stunk up that playoff.
Yes, Kyrie didn't average number like 15 or 16. Quiet as it's kept. But they lost 11 straight games when he got hurt. They were in first place. When he came back, they were 1 game over 500. And they still had a push going down the stretch to get to the 7 seed?
Yeah, and then they changed the team around.
Jaylen Brown only missed 16 games last season.
How many did Tatum miss?
I'm getting to it right now.
I don't think he missed over 10.
And Marcus Smart missed games also.
But I believe Boston was almost, I believe Miami was the most healthiest team last year. They didn't really have many.
Yeah, Miami probably was,
No, I think Miami was injured too early
and
on.
what's your name was healthy pretty much for the year.
I think
Jason Tatum only missed 6 games. last
I
season.
told you,
Oh, okay.
6 games,
Well, it
and
must have
that's
been
back
COVID
to your,
then. COVID
that
Let me
goes back
check.
to
protocol.
your
Because
Let me
it's
statement
check. Let me
something.
check Marcus
about
Smart. Let me
them.
check Marcus Smart.
Yeah, and I'm just going to address Dex with this. That goes back to your statement, Dex, that Boston stayed the same when Brooklyn and Chicago faded. They kept their players. Now, if they changed their offense, fine, but they
All right,
still
so I
had
got
their
Marcus
players.
Smart. I got Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart only missed 11 games last season.
Mm, yeah.
Almost they were one of the healthiest teams last year.
No, they
I'm not blaming
wasn't.
this.
I'm
No,
trying to
no,
tell
no.
you, but y'all
What
can't
about
listen
Philly?
to the
Philly was
rankings.
healthy.
No, I said they were one of them. I didn't say they were the most. I said they were one of them. All right. If you want to see the difference, just go to the Bulls schedule. I mean, go to Bulls players and look how many games they missed.
I'll go to that in a minute.
Yeah, bro. I remember because I was like, I don't know what's going on in Boston and Milwaukee. They was literally
Al
6 or
Horford
7,
only
and then
missed.
they
Al
go
Horford
ahead.
only missed 13 games last season.
I know they had they could because they had a heavy push going down the stretch, healthy. Everybody else was nicked up, and I'm not saying that that's to their testament that they were healthy. I'm not knocking them because they were healthy. I'm just saying they were healthy. Now, health ran all the way to the finals, and they actually got tired and lost that damn series. But they went through a fucking grueling damn playoff though. And I'm like I said, I'm not stating these things to say the Bulls were all world if they because everybody was hurt. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying just at least give them credit where credit is due. When they were healthy, they were playing well. When they wasn't healthy, they didn't play that well. Plus, they had the toughest schedule in the second half. That's not no cop out. Is what it is. But then to say we didn't win against top teams, that wasn't true, guys. We didn't win against top teams in the second half. We beat some top teams in the first half. The second half was way more grueling because we had top teams back to back to back to back to back.
And they
All
was
right,
fairly
so
healthy, and you guys wasn't.
Robert Williams only
And he
missed
missed the most.
21. Yeah, because that injury. Robert
That
Williams
knee.
only missed 21 games.
And he only missed 21.
Don't say only. Say
Well,
21
okay,
games.
well,
Because
go
it
to the
You only
Bulls.
say
matters
You want
only
to hear
when it's
some
when
less
you
than
numbers?
miss
10.
them.
You want to hear some numbers? Go to the Bulls. Because I can tell you, you
Marvin is
count them out.
not.
Out of
You
82 games,
thinking
hold on. Out of
when you
82 games, if Patrick
No,
Williams
we
only
didn't
plays
get Marcus
17,
Smart. I mean, yeah, okay, that's it, right? Murgot, is that it?
Yeah, that's it. That's
Tatum,
their
Brown,
starters.
Smart. Yeah,
but
okay.
what y'all acting like Boston and Milwaukee from the start of the season was up there in the rankings and they wasn't. I'm telling y'all, it was something going on with those two teams specifically. And once they got it together, I forgot when it was. I think it was before the All-Star
Lonzo Ball missed.
game,
Lonzo
and
Ball
then they
missed
start up the
47.
rankings.
Lonzo Ball missed 47. And I know what you're talking about, Purple Baby. That game was against the Knicks. They were winning, and Knicks came back and beat them. And that's when Marcus Smart blew up in the locker room and said they need to start passing the ball. Everything changed.
But that's true. But look, what was the record though? They
They were
wasn't
only
in the
500.
top.
They were only playing 500 ball at the time.
Yeah, and they wasn't
Patrick
in the
Williams
top
missed
6,
65.
16.
65 and 40. That's a whole season between them two. I mean, these are starters that he calling out too, guys. Now the rest of them, because Zach and Vooch damn near played the whole season. But Io, when you see these
you mean
guys miss,
DeRozan. You mean DeRozan.
well, yeah, I meant yeah. But when you say these guys, you remember if you got
Zach
these two
LaVine
guys
missed
out,
15.
when you got them, but you got those main two guys out, somebody else has to play in that spot. One of them was Io, and the other one was Javonte Green. Now, how much downgrade do you put the Bulls when you have Io and
DeMar DeRozan
Javonte
missed 6.
and Javonte
But
Green?
that 6 was down the stretch, though.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
was
DeMar
already
didn't miss
locked
very many
in.
games.
Yeah,
They
they
didn't
was
miss
already
very
locked
games.
in.
Make sure you hit Caruso too. But answer this, Dex. How much downgrade are the Bulls if you start in Io DeSumo and Javonte Green instead of Lonzo Ball and Patrick Williams?
Vucevic
Yeah,
missed 9.
that is a downgrade.
Significant drop. A
Uh-huh.
significant drop.
You
Those
say
both were
precipitous.
stars.
Say precipitous drop.
Yeah, I mean that. I mean that. A pouring drop. Meaning
Yeah.
this. When you look at that, and a lot of people don't look at
And
that
Alex
like that.
Caruso missed 41.
41
Wow,
games.
I didn't know he missed that many games.
Yep.
How many
41.
Lonzo
So
miss again? How many
and
Lonzo missed?
60. No,
No,
45.
he didn't miss no 60 games.
45.
Lonzo Ball missed 47.
47.
47, and Caruso missed how many?
41.
30.
No, the
And
Marvin, slow down. Let Margot got it.
I'm
How many
sorry.
did Caruso miss?
Caruso missed 41 games.
Wow.
How many Patrick missed?
Patrick
That's
missed like
crazy.
65, 67.
Yeah.
Lonzo and
here's the
Caruso missed 40 plus games apiece.
a piece.
That's half a season.
Okay,
Wow.
Murgot, go to Derrick Jones Jr. and Javante Green while I'm telling Dex this. All the reason I never mentioned this when we were getting ready to go to playoff. All I was hoping was Lonzo come back. Please, man, just come on. I never even really said that.
Shit, you better be hoping Caruso too. Shit.
Well, Caruso came back, but he wasn't the same.
No, but he got hurt again.
That's right.
Derrick Jones Jr. missed 31.
Oh,
He missed 31.
God.
Yeah. See, and everybody want to talk about the Bulls. The Bulls were the most ravaged team last year, totally, across the board.
That's a lot of time.
Starting from game one, call out Kobe White. You ain't called out.
Okay,
These are all.
okay, we're going to move from the Bulls. Let's talk about the Hornets.
Oh, Lord.
Now, Margot.
Just one last. Hold on real quick. Just one last thing. I got it because Marvin asked for Javante Green. He missed 17.
And if he can give one more, Dex, which is Kobe, and we'll leave it alone, because that's another key contributor to the Bulls. How many games Kobe missed? But I did.
Kobe White this last time.
I know we're running out of time, so we're gonna probably wait till tomorrow to do anything. I reconstructed my list, Dex, and I wanted to check with you guys and see if you guys like this.
Marvin, Kobe White missed 21.
Yes. Dex, I don't know if you remember them saying last night that they wanted to add a team to the list, and they added Golden State. You wasn't feeling good, so I don't know if you recall. Do you recall, sir?
Yeah, I was listening.
So what I did, because that put the number of teams at 8, and the teams at hand are this. I just want you guys to hear this. The teams that we all were doing were the Lakers. Hang on. Damn it. The Lakers was the first team. The Bulls were the second team. The Knicks were the third team. Brooklyn was the fourth team. Charlotte was the fifth team. Golden State, which is 6. Pelicans. And I added Portland for Zen, because that's another team that, somebody on the panel goes for. Is that all right?
3 and 7. I'm just going to say Portland 3 and 7.
Well, I wasn't going to go over them yet. I wanted to ask you guys this question at the end. I added 2 more teams. And the 2 teams I added, I wanted to see if you guys agree. There were 2 teams that I felt that we all would have hell of a takes on. And these 2 teams are Detroit Pistons and the Houston Rockets. Because
Detroit Pistons 1 and 9.
Because they're so hard to gauge. Is why
Houston
I
Rockets 2 and 8.
Now, you might change that when I call the teams. I didn't know if we had enough time, but I didn't know who was new on the panel because I was missing quite a few people from giving their takes about
Why
the
you
Lakers.
didn't do Denver? You doing all these scuttle buckets.
I was gonna do Denver, but I chose to do the 2. Sorry, I did 5 in the West and 5 in the East.
Oh.
If I would have did Denver, it would have been 6 and 4. Or I'd have had to take one of the teams out on the other side, and I didn't want to do that because they asked for Golden State last night. So I added Golden State.
I mean, who really cares about what Detroit and Houston does? I mean, honestly.
I think those are better takes for us to gauge and see if we know what they can do. Because I'm high on Detroit. I'm high on Detroit.
Really?
Yes, I am. I can take them off because nobody did them. I just thought I would ask. But Murgot, since you are here, are you still here?
Yeah, I'm still here. I was just going to let you know that just to get this stat to you because I know you will like it. In totality, the Bulls, the team, far as major players that played. The Bulls in totality missed 220 games.
Ooh, that seems like a
I'm
lot.
not gonna say. I'm not gonna say much more about that because I never did once cry on us being hurt. We got to play with who we got. It was just an unfortunate season due to COVID and injuries and just so many things that happened. The Bulls were a shell of themselves going into the playoffs. Beat up, drugged through the mud.
Whatever
and
happened
they
to
got
talking about Charlotte? Purple Bay wanted to talk about Charlotte, and we have yet to talk about Charlotte.
Okay, well, if she wants to talk about Charlotte, then I won't do the Lakers. I'll just wait till another night.
Or 7.
Now, Purple Baby, you requested Charlotte, so you started off. I mean, give us something straight that we can latch on to.
Okay, now I don't know if you've been tuned in, but I'm on my disrespectful stuff with Charlotte. Because I pondered upon the thought, when I was thinking about Charlotte last night, and that thought, and I want you to stay with me, my God. That thought was, I've been thinking about how Mitch Kupchak been talking since LaMelo has been there on that team. And he keep talking about playoffs. And I was like, well, what would persuade him to think, that this team was a playoff team? And then I started thinking, even though, and I kind of agree with what he was saying as far as this team being a playoff team, but I started thinking, and I was like, well, they probably felt like they needed a center, which is why they wanted James Wiseman. Okay, cool. But I was like, well, that would mean that they were pretty satisfied and okay with Terry Rozier and Devontae Graham. And so the fact that they had to get LaMelo at 3 messed up their plans, but Mitch didn't want to waver off from the playoffs because we're going into year 3 and he's still talking about this is a playoff team. And I'm trying to understand where. So, to Murgot, could you understand from Mitch's perspective prior to them drafting LaMelo Ball that this was a playoff team?
I mean, it's just all about the mindset that he's trying to embed in the team or the culture, where he's trying to get players to not actually have that perception where we're just going to go into the season and get our tails whipped. They just want to go into the season and compete, or at least try to. That's really all it is right there. It's just about going. It's like my Atlanta Falcons. Does my Atlanta Falcons have the roster to really actually make the playoffs? Absolutely not. But you won't be able to tell the coach that or the GM that, because they're going to go out there and embed that culture into the players to want to go out there and compete. That's all it is. It's like the Detroit Pistons. Do the Detroit Pistons have a roster to make the playoffs right now? They don't. But they're going to go out there and compete every night. They're young.
Yeah.
They're athletic. They're just going to go out there and compete. And that's what you have to instill in players, especially young players, so they don't get down and out early. Because if you're doing that early, then that's when you end up with seasons like the Houston Rockets did, or teams that basically just go out there and you have a team to only win 10 games in a season. That's where that type of stuff come from. And you don't want that as a culture. You don't want that because that culture becomes basically a disease. You don't want that in the locker room.
Do you guys believe that this coach they have now is a bridge coach to later fortunes?
Yeah, I think he is. I think he's probably going to end up being a bridge coach. But it is what it is, man. I think that he's going to probably basically help some of the young guys out as far as figuring out basically play defense. But that's about it, man. I mean, he's just a bridge coach until they can find somebody that's going to be younger, that can relate to LaMelo more, similar to what the Utah Jazz did. They got a young coach, coach, 35. What is he, 35, 36 years old? Young coach can relate to the players. They know the Utah Jazz know they're going to be young, so it is what it is. That's how they're going to be.
And to that, if you guys don't
mind. How many years
mind,
did Clippers sign for?
3 years.
I think they're only 3 years, man.
So will he fulfill that contract, guys?
He'll probably pay 2, and that's about it at the most.
Yep. And to that, guys, if you guys don't mind, because I got Murgot on my list, can I do a Charlotte rundown with him since we're on Charlotte? Because I need his take on that.
Yeah.
Okay, Murgot. What we're doing is realistic takes with the current team that the Charlotte Hornet has right now. I'm going to give you 10 games. You give me L's and W's, and we're going to count them up. I'm putting them in a little pokey, and we're going to go back to this if you don't mind. All right. You want to do them?
Let's go, man.
Okay. Your first game is on the road. Dex, can I get a little music, please? Your first game is on the road against San Antonio.
San Antonio Spurs. That's a dub.
Okay. 1-0. Second game is home against New Orleans.
That's an L.
1-1. On the road against Atlanta.
That can go either way. But I'm going with Atlanta the first time at home. If they ever played Charlotte at home, I would have picked Charlotte. But I'm going with Atlanta.
1-2. On the road in New York.
That's a dub. They can beat them.
2-2. On the road.
What'd you say? I can't hear you.
On the road against Orlando.
So Orlando?
Yes.
That's a dub. They can beat them.
All right. They are 3-2. You got them at 3-2.
All right.
Home against Golden State.
That's a loss.
3-3. Home against Sacramento.
They can beat them. That's a dub. At home, yeah.
Okay, 4-4. Home against Sacramento.
They're probably end up losing that game.
That makes them 4-5. 4-4. I'm sorry. On the road against Chicago.
That's an L.
4-5. And last but not least, on the road against Memphis.
Against who?
Memphis.
That's an L.
Okay, you got them at 4-6. I'm gonna jot this down, and while we're doing that, I just wanted to say I have about 5 people who haven't given their takes for the Charlotte Hornets. I'm gonna call them out, so if you guys are in the, listening later, you get a chance, we'll get you done. I need to get Zen done, A1, Belize, Rap God, Uncle Vern, K&T, Rave, Sky, and Talented Rico. I just got Murgard. You got him at 4-6, right?
Yeah.
You said Rap God.
No, Murgard.
Oh,
I said I need rap. No, I need Rap God also. Yeah.
Rap God don't even come on the panel.
Yeah, he do. He's always in the chat. Okay, I'll take him out if you want me to. He's always in the chat. I'm just trying to give everybody a chance to be on there because I didn't have Rico.
What about Unstoppable?
He already gave his take. I'm not giving nobody back their takes until everybody give their take. No, that's right. He haven't given his. He's on my list too. Unstoppable, Zen, A1, Belize, Rap God, if he wants to get in. Uncle Vern, K&T, Rave, Sky, Ted, and Rico. Murgard just gave his.
So basically, we're going to go over and review them after.
Yes, after 10 games, we're going to go over and review each team.
Right.
And we tried to do the teams that somebody on the panel kind of likes. You know, we did the Bulls if you want to do them.
I mean, we can do the Bulls. It don't matter to me.
Yeah, since I got you, I'd like to go ahead and get you done on these. So hang on one second.
Yeah, I looked at the schedule, but you know,
I'll run it back to you here in just a second. I will run it all game for game here in just a second. Hang on one second, because you got to do all of them. You ain't did Brooklyn, you ain't did it, none of them. But I didn't know if the guys wanted to do all of that tonight, so I'll just do a couple with you. Okay.
I think we should just stick with certain teams that matter, like the Bulls, the Hornets, the Lakers, or like Brooklyn.
And I said the same thing, and I got those. I got Bulls, Hornets, Lakers, Knicks, Brooklyn. I got the teams, but it's 8 teams. And Ted just gave me the idea last night to try to do them all. That's just too many teams. I think it'll be too tough.
Yeah,
all right, hang on.
Teams, that's too much. Man,
I can do them. It's just going to take too long.
When did we allow Dex to have control over the background music, man? This man go out of control with it.
You've been gone a long time. He been doing that for a while now.
Man, that junk is funny, man. Dex over here playing DJ.
Say, man, it's like a trivia, you know. Okay, hang on. Let me bring the Bulls schedule up. and then we can do those, and then we can carry on to something else, and we'll probably be getting off the panel in a minute because Flight finna shut us down. But Purple Baby, are you still there? She's already gone. Okay, my God, hang on one second. It's coming up.
You better hurry, because White gonna be shutting it down in a minute.
Yeah, I know it, man. I know it. I got 5 pages running, so it's running a little slow. So hang on. And I don't want you to just give me a number because I want to call each team so you can think about them, and then give me a number. What you believe in. So,
I mean, listen, man. I love my Bulls with a healthy Lonzo and a Patrick Williams. I love my Bulls up against anybody, man.
You damn right. And we were also basing this on current roster and everybody being healthy. That's all we can do. Come on. Shit. Hey, did you see those last videos of Patrick Williams working out?
I did, man. Patrick Williams look good, man.
Yeah, you do. Okay, here's the Bulls schedule. First game, on the road against Miami.
Woo, man, that's going to be a tough one, man. See, but the crazy thing is, though, has the Bulls ever really played Miami fully healthy?
That's right. No, we haven't. We didn't play him. Lonzo Ball didn't play against him not one game last year.
Yeah, no, he played against him one time, but our team was never healthy.
He did. That wasn't the team, right?
He played him against that first time. He was healthy, and then the next time, a couple of times we played him, Lonzo wasn't even there. So the simple fact that basically that I'm rolling with my Bulls, man. I think my Bulls can pull it out.
There you go. I think
my Bulls can pull it out, man.
All right, 1-0 on the road against Washington.
That's a dub, man. That's a dub.
2-0. Home against Cleveland. That's our home opener.
Woo, that's a dub right there. Let's be going 3-0 right here, man.
Home against Boston.
Woo, man. We might take that L. We might take that L on that one.
3-1. Home against Indiana.
Oh, that's a dub.
4-1. On the road at the Spurs.
That's a dub.
5-1. Home on a back-to-back against Philly.
Back-to-back, that's a loss.
5-2. On the road at Brooklyn.
I'm rolling with my Bulls.
What?
6-2. I'm rolling with my Bulls. 6-2. I think we got the right players. We had a number last season. I think we're gonna have a number again.
Now that's game 8 of the season on the road in Brooklyn. One more time.
You said
you got it for. That's game 8 of the season on the road at Brooklyn. You got them in a win, right?
Yeah.
6-2. Home against Charlotte.
That's a dub.
7-2, and finally on the road against Boston. Now you made us lose. You picked us to lose at home. Now what you gonna do?
Man, that might be. It's just, man. It's just the thing I think about is that it's just that defense, man. Like they defense is aggravating, and they added Malcolm Brogdon, so I probably have to give us taking the L that game too.
Okay,
7-3.
You got us at 7-3. But I did want to say this before I jot it down. You got the Bulls losing both games, 2 games out of 10 against Boston, in Chicago and in Boston. Okay, 7-3. All right, that's it. I'm not gonna do no more. We can do some more another day. I'm gonna jot down your 7-3.
Yeah, man, I got confidence in my Bulls, man. Regardless of what everybody say, man. Regardless what Deck says, I still think that DeMar DeRozan, he gonna give up the ball a lot more. The team gonna pass the ball a lot more and everything, man. I think Lonzo gonna show out. He gonna show why he should have been in contention of Defensive Player of the Year. I feel like his assist numbers are gonna go up. I feel like his 3-point percentage is gonna be really good. I feel like he's gonna play well. We're gonna get out in the break. We're gonna run a lot more. You know, I got confidence in my team, man. My team gonna stay
That's
healthy
right.
this season. It's
And
gonna
I
be
do
right,
too.
man.
Dex, are you still there? I wanted to ask you something about your Lakers. Not on the schedule.
Oh boy.
You know, I wasn't gonna let you get away. Flight ain't kicked us off yet, so here's the question. No Kyrie?
I'm starting to feel bad again. why you killing my joy?
I'm just asking you a simple question. Because see, I'm not like the rest of them other channels. They riding the guys who said this. I just want to hear from my buddy, from my partner, Dex.
Well, to be honest with you, everything was predicated on Kyrie being accepted as a Brooklyn Net. I just want to give you some insight on that Kevin Durant thing. The reason why that meeting took place with Kevin Durant wanting out because him and Kyrie came there as a duel, as a tandem, as a collaboration, as a duet, and Brooklyn was trying to squeeze Kyrie out with media schmut. And Kyrie, yes, he has been a pestilent. I will give you that, but he has a right to choose when it comes to American values, American morals, and being constituted in his belief. Kyrie has that.
That's
The
fine.
only thing I don't like is that Kyrie is mercurial, and you know his decisions is based on whatever way the wind could blow, right? And that's the thing that I don't like because
wishy-washy.
Yeah, that's what that means basically, wishy-washy. Yes. And he's probably one of the most since the days of Kareem. You follow what I'm saying? Because Kareem had that similar demeanor because basketball wasn't his number one thing. You know, he had other things that Kareem was devoted to, and basketball was a secular type of movement in Kareem's life. And I think the same thing is happening with Kyrie, and this is why he's able to make those decisions regardless of the sticker price that comes with it. You know what I mean? Because the money that you wave in Kyrie face is not going to move Kyrie off his base unless that's what he wanted to do anyway. So so that mercurial individual is very sway. You know, it's like a palm tree in a storm. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It'll sway back and forth, but he won't come off his roots.
We gotta get up out of here. We had a hell of a night tonight. We're gonna pull back up tomorrow, man. We appreciate y'all. Salute All Access. Shout out Marvin, Murdoch. Salute the Ball Facts. Salute to everybody that pulled up tonight. Pull up tomorrow. It's Flight Sports TV. Check out the uploads. We uploaded a couple of videos for the people for the night. It's not over. It's Flight Sports.
Flight Sports TV, man. That's my dude. I rolls with him.
You heard what the man said. It's Flight Sports TV.